playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's in the air to left. Going back, and that's going to go. His second of the year. He goes up, and the lines are off 3.
What a fantastic, positive Friday. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having lovely Friday. It's a long weekend, baby. And man, for sports fans, there's no shortage of things to do. Of course, the Stingers finally back at home, and they're taking on first place Vancouver. If you're looking for a great game of basketball, that is the place to go tonight. You also have the Riverhawks, who've won 3 in a row, playing very well at home. They wrap up their final regular season homestand starting tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. Then you have the Elks, a matinee on Sunday. You got the 3x3 basketball here at West Edmonton Mall, where the Sports 1440 studios are. Can check that out down at the Ice Palace. They're not in studio, of course. They're down at the Ice Palace. So, way you go. Should be it should be good. Should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the weekend. The CFL. If you're a CFL fan, it started with a pretty large upset. The Ottawa Red Blacks, winners of only one game, spank Calgary 31-11. And hey, anything could happen, Elks fans. Anything could happen. As of course, you got Toronto, Winnipeg tonight, and Hamilton's here on Saturday afternoon, and Saskatchewan is in Montreal on Saturday evening for some CFL action. This weekend, you had NFL preseason last night. We'll get to that, because is the chain gang officially gone? We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Also today, it was announced that Hockey Canada, they're going to have an orientation camp coming up in Calgary at the end of this month. It'll be off ice, and it's all about the they have it for both the men and the women's, but the men's orientation camp will have, and I'm surprised, only 3 goalies invited. No Logan Thompson, no Darcy Kemper. Man, Kemper had an unreal year last year. That one's a little surprising to me. Like, why'd you only invite the same 3 goalies that were on the team? Every other position has competition except the goalie. A little odd to me, but nonetheless. So Bennington, Hill, Montembeault will be there on defense. Evan Bouchard, Noah Dobson, Drew Doughty, Aaron Ekblad, Thomas Harley, Cale Makar, Brandon Montour, Josh Morrissey, Colton Parayko, Travis Sanheim, Shea Theodore, Devon Taves, and Mackenzie Weegar. Up front, they'll have, there's lots of forwards invited, 26. Obviously, half of them basically won't be going. Connor Bedard, Sam Bennett, Quentin Byfield, Macklin Celebrini, Anthony Cirelli, Sidney Crosby, Brandon Hagel, Bo Horvat, Zach Hyman, Seth Jarvis, Wyatt Johnston, Travis Konechny, Nathan McKinnon, Brad Marchand, Mitch Marner, Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Braden Point, Sam Reinhart, Mark Scheifele, Mark Stone, Nick Suzuki, John Tavares, Robert Thomas, Carter Verhaeghe, Tom Wilson. So it just seems odd to me that you've got that many forwards, that many defensemen, but only 3 goalies. So maybe they just feel, hey, Kemper, Thompson, not making the team regardless. So interesting for sure for me, but it's going to be fascinating to see, who makes it, who doesn't make it. There's obvious some ones that I think we can safely say that Cale Makar, you're on the team. Devon Taves, you're on the team. I think Thomas Harley, how he played, he'll be on that team. Shea Theodore. I think Evan Bouchard's got a really good chance to make that team. but not a lock. Obviously, up front, Connor McDavid, no-brainer. Braden Point, no-brainer. Crosby's going to be on the team. Nathan McKinnon's an obvious one. I think Mitch Marner's an obvious one. After that, I think it's kind of wide open, right? They brought in some different guys, a little bit more physical. I think that's something they were looking at. I know the Olympic rules are very different than the Four Nations. You're not going to have fisticuffs off the opening faceoff, which really sucks. Let's call a spade a spade. You got a big tournament with the best players, and that game, Canada-US, will go down as one of the, well, if not maybe the greatest start to a hockey game we've ever seen. In a big game, it got everybody juiced up. I don't care if you're a Canadian fan, American fan, it didn't matter. You were amped up for that game. The players obviously off the charts. So looking at the team breakdown, Florida has 5 players. The Oilers in Vegas have 4. Colorado, Montreal, St. Louis, and Tampa each have 3. Dallas, the Kings, Philly, and I think I messed up. I'm going to have to tweet it because I have LA twice, but they're not twice. Chicago, Carolina, New York, Pittsburgh, San Jose, Seattle, and Toronto, each with 2. Cons, what do you make of the fact that there is only 3 goalies going?
Yeah, Gregor. I mean, it's a little bit surprising because, like you said, you have so many other roster players with a competition. It almost seems like they've kind of set these 3 as their guys, and that's what they're going to roll with. I wonder, though, like, I always think back to Jarome Iginla back in 2002 and the season that he had. He was on nobody's radar, I would say, to make that Olympic squad, and he basically forced his hand. Finished the year with 52 goals that year. Like, he was just so good that year. He made it happen. What if a goalie is to, play lights out to start the season? Do they have to consider making the change there, just like there is with, I guess, all of the skaters? But I like it. I think it's a good idea to get these guys out there and have that huge roster. You never know who's going to really step up their game. There's a bit of a carrot to chase now, some motivation for the guys. So I'm a big fan of it. And I mean, cool to see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins get the call, and Zach Hyman, a guy who I think could have been on that Four Nation faceoff squad quite easily, and Bouchard as well. I think it's a pretty good group out there. A lot of locks, but a lot of guys going to be fighting for that spot.
Yeah, well, they're not on ice. It's all an off-ice orientation. There'll be no skating. I'm sure the PA had a big say with that. I understand it. Like, honestly, what are you going to do in an orientation camp at this point? That doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to have anybody on the ice. But it's August, and I remember when you used to have the Canada Cup and you used to have camps in August, and then the tournament would get going late in August into September, right into the NHL season. That was unreal. I loved it. Now that's what I grew up watching, so I kind of like the time of it. If it was me, I would rather have the next, World Cup of Hockey in August, September. Now, I know I'd probably never go back to that because the season is later now than it ever used to be, but that would just be me. So we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our inbox. Of course, the Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight, $50 million up for grabs, Lotto Max, and 2 Max Millions. So get your tickets. Good luck at PlayAlberta.ca. Coming up on the program today, Dave Naylor will join us. We'll talk CFL and NFL, as he's already been to some NFL camps in Washington, Baltimore, the Bills, the Steelers. Some big news, speaking of the NFL, as one of the best defensive players, Micah Parsons, goes to after McLaurin yesterday asked for a trade. Now Micah Parsons says, you know what? I'm done giving it all. They're questioning me in Dallas. He's asking for a trade. Ooh, mama. The Dallas Cat. Now, just because a player asks for a trade doesn't mean he gets traded right away. But this is one. Now, this could easily just be a negotiating ploy. Cons, we'll see. But he's clearly not happy. And sometimes there comes a time where they're like, you know what? I've crossed the line. There's no coming back here. I don't believe that it's repairable. Now, sometimes the relationship is repairable, but in others, it's not. So, well, we'll see. Do you think Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys is repairable?
I mean, I do. I think for sure money talks at the end of the day. If the Dallas Cowboys are willing to, man up, pay the money, and maybe give him the guarantees that he wants, I think that he would be okay to stay there. But the statement's interesting. He does say multiple times, I do not want to be here. I no longer want to be here. I don't want to negotiate. I don't want to have these meetings being locked in without my agent. He kind of he paints a pretty vivid picture of how this has gone so far for the team. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. If you're a Cowboys fan, you've got to be so upset with your owner, Jerry Jones, and what he's been able to do, because the number's been set. TJ Watt signed that contract. TJ Watt is 3-4 years older than Micah Parsons, and you still can't find a way to get that deal done. Like, it shows that you don't believe in him, I think, that he can be the guy for the next 5, 6, 7 years or whatever it might be. And that just, to me, is just a terrible message to send to the rest of the team. Like, the locker room is going to be on Parsons' side. We've already seen CeeDee Lamb tweet out, pay the man. Like, he's earned it. They need him on their team, and it looks like that's not going to happen. And we've looked at some of the trade comparables in the past. I think the closest would be probably Khalil Mack a few years ago when the Raiders sent him to the Chicago Bears, and the return was pretty big, like first round picks and that, and then the Bears were willing to pay Khalil Mack. So I don't know what team would be willing to fork over a few first round picks for Micah Parsons, but I would imagine there'd be quite a few, Gregor, because when he's out there, he's an absolute game wrecker. He makes plays all the time, and a lot of teams would love to take him on their squads.
Yeah, I would think so. So, now, do you think he actually gets traded?
I'm going to say yeah, because I hope so. I hope he gets out of there. And I hope that maybe Jones realizes you got to pay your guys sooner than later so it doesn't get to this point. Because I think Parsons handled it pretty well. What the return would be, on the other hand, that's the intriguing part. I just want to see if I can find it here. The Khalil Mack return was pretty big. Just kind of scrolling through here. I saw it on social media. It was a 2019 first, a 2020 first, a third, and a sixth. And then the Raiders received, and then it was Khalil Mack, a second and a seventh. So I believe Khalil Mack was a year older, had a defensive player of the year under his belt as well. But I guess there is the framework for a similar deal for a trade. And I think a lot of teams would pony up and make that deal.
I'm fascinated to see what happens. I don't think McLaurin's going to get traded, honestly. And because I don't think any team out there is going to pay him more than what he's got. Like, honestly, why would you? He's good. He ain't that good. And I don't know if he could find much of a better situation, to be honest, right? With a quarterback where he's the clear number one. There are other quarterbacks who are better than Jaden Daniels, but where's he going to go? Is he going to go to the Chiefs? That might be the only one you could say where they need a number one receiver. Joe Burrow's already got receivers. One for sure, maybe two that are better than him. One for sure. So where do you see him going?
One name we kind of threw some names around, maybe the New England Patriots. I mean, pair him with Stephon Diggs. That could be a nice 1-2 pairing. But I do agree with you. Like, he's had good seasons. He is a very good player, but he's not great. So what are you going to command for him? Also, he's going to be 30 during the season here. We know that's kind of the benchmark where we think, okay, maybe it's when a player does start to decline in their play. He's been great. He's been healthy the last 4 or 5 seasons where he's been able to be out there for every single game. But if you could, what do you think the return would be for Terry McLaurin? That would be my question, because I'm not giving up a first. Would I do a second? Yeah, you're probably going to have him for 3 or 4 more good years. Maybe a second round pick I'd give up for him, but you have to have the cap space to also pay him, like you said. And it seems like he wants to be paid like one of the tops, and I just don't know if I have him in that category yet. So if I'm giving up assets, it's for Micah Parsons, not Terry McLaurin.
Oh, God, yeah. I don't even think it's close. So we'll touch on that with Naylor a little bit. Also, we got Eddie Steele. We'll talk a little green and gold as the roster came out. No surprise. Some guys moving to the 6th game that we talked about yesterday. Nick Anderson and Mathis, Speck, Lodi, LT will be by. Jordan Baker, head coach of the Stingers. Wanye Gretz. We'll talk a little hockey. What do you think? Real easy question. Yes or no? Do you think Evan Bouchard makes the roster? He's invited to the camp. Do you think he makes the roster for Canada at the 2026 Olympics? Just a simple yes or no. And you can explain why, if you like. Yes or no. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We also got some Elks tickets if you want to go. It's going to be a beautiful day for football. We'll give some of those away later on. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
McDonald's Summer Drink Days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's Summer Drink Days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Tee off to win with Cattail Crossing's $10,000 hole-in-one challenge, powered by Sports 1440, Canada's first ever Aqua Range event. Just walk up, grab some golf balls, and start swinging. Or book a VIP bay today. Win $10,000 with a hole-in-one, plus great secondary hole and leaderboard prizes. Closest to the pin and monthly winners will battle for a $50,000 grand prize. The hole-in-one challenge, open Thursday to Sunday, noon till 8 through August. Weather permitting, cattailcrossing.ca.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair. They'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today, because it's time to be the man you remember.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth Double E football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
How you doing? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, as we roll through a lovely, beautiful Friday. Woo-hoo. How many of you are just enjoying the heat? It's tarps off everywhere. Why not? Love it. Enjoy it. It's great. Going to be a beautiful afternoon for outdoor football tomorrow as the Elks host the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 1 o'clock, an early start in Edmonton. As we're going to talk a little football now as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Hockey Super League, a premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development, offering borderless hockey, including provincial and cross-province competition. Check out hockeysuperleague.ca for more information. TSN Football Insider, Dave Naylor, joins us to talk a little CFL and NFL. Dave, let's start in the NFL because you've been touring around to the Ravens, Commanders, the Bills, and the Steelers, but I do want to start with you were at the Commanders camp, and since you left, Terry McLaurin has asked for a trade, and today Micah Parsons asks for a trade. Do you think both get dealt? One, who? What do you think happens here?
Well, I don't think either do. And rarely do these things result in trades. The training camp's a long, long time. Even from today, we're about 5 weeks away from the start of the season. And when you're talking about veteran guys, they don't necessarily need to be in camp from the very first day of the year. And this is, in the case of the Cowboys, I mean, how many times have we lived through this? We lived through a CD Lamb. We lived through a Dak Prescott. I mean, it's almost in the culture of the team to sort of bring things to the edge and insult the player before you bring him back into the fold. And I think it's part of, Jerry Jones' DNA that he believes that, the only things he loves more than football are drama and attention. And he gets both of them because that's what everybody's talking about right now. And it's riled up Micah Parsons and it's riled up his teammates. And it's like a reality show. But I think that's Jerry's intent. It's just, I haven't covered the Dallas Cowboys a whole lot. But in the time that I have, it's amazing to cover a team and have the owner, doing a mega scrum minutes after the game. I know he's the GM as well, but that doesn't happen anywhere else in sports. The GMs don't do scrums immediately after losses and wins like Jerry does. So it's a whole different deal there. The Bengals, again, have been one of these teams that has strung out a lot of their signings. Last year was Jamar Chase doing a hold-in at camp, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. And the Terry McLaurin one's maybe the most interesting one because this is a guy who's 5-time 1,000-yard receiver, had 13 touchdowns, has really been like a good soldier with a bad team, popular with teammates, popular with coaches, popular with fans. And now they're finally getting good. And they don't have a ton of weapons around him. Not like this is a stacked receiver group or stacked offense in general. So I think he's got a lot of leverage. But at 29, with 1 year left on his deal, I'm sure the hang up to the Commanders is, well, what's the length of a commitment you make to a receiver who's about to turn 30? And we've seen lots of examples of guys who are, elite receivers until the other side of 30, and then they become something less. And the pay scale changes dramatically when you're talking about a guy, who's an absolute top of the league receiver and somebody who's a notch below. So that one's the most intriguing to me just because I feel like the Commanders are not guaranteed to take another step forward, regardless of whether they get Terry McLaurin back this year. And if they don't, for some reason, it just feels like for, again, a guy who's put up with a lot of lousy teams in Washington and done his part to be left out of what has been, certainly a very positive direction in Washington would seem strange.
Well, and that's why, to me, it's maybe a negotiation thing. You go public, maybe it speeds it up
Sure
or not. I'm not sure, but if you stay in camp, and I guess this is just saving you money, but it's your way of holding out without holding out, right?
Yeah, that's why we see hold-ins, right? Where guys are saying, I'll do my part. I don't want to get fined. A lot of people, in fact, there were national reporters that were speculating that James Cook was going to show up in Buffalo and do a hold-in. He didn't. He showed up, talked about his contract on second day of camp. Since then, it's been a non-story. So, yeah, there's different ways of doing it. But I think today, in today's age in the NFL, with the amount of money that's out there, I think a lot of players understand they're playing two sports, one called football, one called business. And the way you win the business is you try and leverage at the time when you think you have that kind of leverage. And that's what's happening with those three players right now.
Dave Naylor joins us here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Is there anything, like, when you look at the Ravens, a lot of people think, hey, the Ravens are going to win the AFC. Like, the Chiefs are good, the Bills are good. The Ravens have been good, and they just, they're kind of like the Bills. They can't get over that Chiefs hurdle.
Yeah, well, it was the Chiefs hurdle 2 years ago, and then it was the Bills hurdle last year. And I think it's got to be especially frustrating for Baltimore because they played Buffalo twice last year. They played them in like the week 3 or 4 in September in Baltimore. I was at that game, and they crushed them. That was the one where Derrick Henry, scored on a 89-yard run on the third play of the game or something. And, Baltimore is a real heavy team on offense. It's not a great matchup for Buffalo, a team that really plays kind of light boxes and is more built to take away big plays than it is necessarily to stop stuff at the line of scrimmage. And then they get into the playoff game at Buffalo. And, I think the Ravens outplayed the Bills. The only column they didn't win was turnovers and the scoreboard. But otherwise, and then it was the turnovers, and then you had the drop 2-point convert by Mark Andrews at the very end of the game. So, I don't know that the Ravens can even look at either of their contests with the Bills and say, well, we're just not good enough. No, they were. They were more than good enough in one of them, and they should have been good enough in the other than the turnovers. So it's one of those things where what else do you do with this team? Well, the one thing the Ravens were not as elite on the defensive side of the ball last year as they have traditionally been. Now, most of that was in the first half of the season. They had a lot of new defensive staff, including defensive coordinator and Zach Orr. Second half of the season, they gelled and really come together. And then they go into the draft this year and they take Malachi Starks, the safety out of Georgia, in the first round. And they get Mike Green, an edge rusher out of Marshall, in the second round, a guy who has a first round grade, but one of those players who dropped down because of questions about off-field character. So they, it almost felt like the rich getting richer. The Ravens could pick up two of the best defensive players in the draft without having to do anything exceptional to get it. And offensively, they've added DeAndre Hopkins, who I think gives them a big target on the outside, open up things for their two tight ends, Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Likely went out with an ankle injury when we were at camp on Tuesday, so he's going to be out for a big chunk of training camp, but I believe he's going to be back for the regular season. They are a roster that you look at. And again, I know the Bills roster up close pretty well because I cover them more than any other team. But you look at that Ravens roster and you go, man, like, what are the question marks on this team? I mean, the Bills have a lot of question marks, and not all that they're going to be answered negatively. There'll be probably a lot of positive answers. But, I mean, they put a ton of their free agent and draft capital into rebuilding their defense this year. Their first 6 of their first 7 picks are defensive players. They added Larry Ogunjobi. They added Michael Hoyt. They've added other guys that they've as well. So you're looking at a team that's really, I don't say rebuilding their defense, but they're definitely retooling their defense. Baltimore really, I think 18 to 22 starters are back. They've done a little bit of tweaking, but it's almost like the GM, Eric DeCosta, of that team has looked at it and said, yeah, we're not going to tear this one down at all or redo any of it because we think we were probably good enough to win the Super Bowl last year. If we play our A game, we probably win the Super Bowl. They just didn't bring their A game, and it was the turnovers that cost them in Buffalo. So I have a hard time seeing Baltimore, if they play their best game, not getting to a Super Bowl this year.
Dave, let's move over to the CFL. And last night, a pretty big upset to start off the week 9 as Calgary goes into Ottawa and gets spanked 31-11.
My preseason Grey Cup pick was Saskatchewan and Ottawa. And of course, one of those sides looks really good and the other side hasn't looked so good. And look, every losing team in CFL history I've ever cited, points to injuries. And that's always true to some degree. And Ottawa has been the extreme case of injuries. I mean, they had, 10 or 11 Canadians on the injured list, like in week 2. Mm-hmm. Their offensive line has never been set all season. And in fact, they got Zach Pelahos, one of their tackles back, who was a high draft pick last night. And he goes out, 4 plays into the game or something. But having their center, Peter Godber, last night obviously made a big difference. So I really believe that Ottawa's talent was far better than what they've done this year. I mean, Drew Brown's missed a chunk, big drop off when they go to Matthew Schultz, or Dustin Crum. We've seen that. But last night was kind of the game that I thought Ottawa was capable of. And they really brought it on defense. I mean, that was the key. They've got a good front four. They've got a good linebacking core. And they just took that away where Dedrick Mills was not getting anything in the first half. And when you can take the run game away in a CFL game where a quarterback is making his first start, you've got a pretty good chance of forcing him to throw some interceptions, and he did it. So the game script was very much, I think, what you would have wanted if you were Ottawa, and they got the result that you might have anticipated with that. I didn't think PJ Walker was terrible. I thought he looked like a very talented quarterback who can make a bunch of plays, but is going to need to refine some of his decision making if he's going to be successful in this league. And there's not a long history of guys who have started meaningful games in the NFL at quarterback and come to this league and been successful. In fact, I was going back over text with Farhan Lalji this morning. I was trying to make a list of guys who've come here in the last 20 years that, like I say, played, not just mop-up duty in the NFL. Like they started games that mattered. And, you can go to PJ Walker, you can go to Johnny Manziel, you can go to Cleo Lemon, you can go to Paxton Lynch, you go to Duck Hodges. I mean, those are all guys that have been in this league the last 15 years. None of them. I mean, Cleo Lemon might be the high bar. And I think like Jim Barker cut him at halftime of a game in October or something this year. Like it didn't end very well there, but there's just not a lot of history of this guy, started games at quarterback in the National Football League. Therefore he won't need the required development time to be ready to start games in the Canadian Football League. That just doesn't follow. And all those guys I mentioned, were guys who got thrown into the mix in Canada relatively quickly by virtue of what they'd done in the NFL, and were never really, none of them turned into anything. So, PJ Walker, I think, is actually in an advantageous situation that he's not being forced to start, that he can back up Vernon Adams for a year and have an opportunity to fill in, that development curve that so many of the NFL guys never get an opportunity to develop. But I think there's things to build on there, but we also anticipate the VA will be back. Calgary's been, the surprise story of the year. And maybe it was just likely they were coming back to earth a little bit as they have now.
David Archer might be the one. I'm trying to think of an NFL guy who started. Yeah. He started like 25 games, right? And then he didn't come to the CFL, I think, until he was like 28 or maybe even 30.
Yeah.
But he was successful.
He was a Sacramento gold miner.
Oh yeah.
And then when they moved, he was a San Antonio Texan.
And played in Edmonton.
Then he played in Edmonton, and then he played in Ottawa. Yeah. So you're right. David Archer would be maybe the most recent one who's been able to be successful. And David Archer, I believe, was in Ottawa in 1996.
Yes, long
time ago. Their last year, I believe, before that franchise folded. So, we're into 3-decade territory trying to find a guy who's come here and had any degree of success in that position.
Definitely makes sense. Dave Naylor from TSN joins us. Dave, you mentioned the defense and the Elks. There was lots of focus on Trey Ford and everything, but I was like, man, the defense hasn't done their job. Now they were better in Saskatchewan. They only allowed 21. They also changed. They became more aggressive. They weren't 15 yards off the ball in their corners anymore. And I think that's got to continue if they want to have any sort of success tomorrow against Hamilton.
Yeah, that's funny. Before that game last week between Saskatchewan and Edmonton, I was going through, just one of the things I do when I prep for games is I will try to look at the league rankings in different categories, 1 to 9 in teams, and find the categories where, the teams that are involved in the game that night are either, at the extreme high end or the extreme low end of those things. And I was just absolutely stunned at how that defense going into last week might have been, I'm not saying talent-wise, but statistically, that might be the worst 7-game stretch for a defense I've ever seen. I mean, you name a category, they're last. Mm-hmm. And usually it's last or second last. Well, in 90% of them, they're last of the ones that I was. So it had to get better. And of course, the irony is that's where they invested all their capital in the offseason and presumably to keep games close so it would take pressure off the offense. So it was. And look, Saskatchewan's a really good offense this year. I mean, Trevor Harris has thrown 70% completion percentage for 7 straight weeks, which is believed to be a CFL record. You know, they're 6-1. They're running the ball pretty well, and you know, they really had some receivers that in year number 2 have really stepped up for them. So, you know, that's a good offense that Edmonton slowed down. I mean, they didn't win the game, but it was probably Edmonton's best overall game of the season on both sides of the ball combined. So things are moving in the right direction, but the defensive stuff, and I know they get Robbie Smith back this weekend, which is certainly better, gives them an opportunity to get him going, because he hadn't really had the impact that they were anticipating before he went on the injured list. But yeah, they obviously the scheme, I think in the bye week, as much as we all in the media spent a lot of time speculating about what they were going to do at quarterback, and I think our speculation was not ill targeted, because obviously they did make a switch. I think there was probably as much time spent in the building in Edmonton just trying to figure out that defense and how they were going to tweak that to try to get it back on track. Because that almost is a more complex thing, because you can't just change one guy.
No,
like they did at quarterback. It's a whole unit, and you got a first-time defensive coordinator in the league, and J.C. Sherritt, and so there was all kinds of stuff to figure out during that bye week.
Yeah, well, I think they were just too passive, way too passive.
I think which is odd when you got a team full of. I mean, maybe they just felt like the pass rush was going to get home, and they and they wouldn't allow receivers to get downfield, and they could kind of play saw. I don't know what the thinking was there, but whatever it wasn't working.
God, no, it was not working at all. If you it's funny, we had Cody Fajardo on the show on Monday, and he talked about how for 3 years he really learned under Ricky Ray, and Ricky spoke to him and it really helped him, and he feels like with Trey Ford there wasn't great communication prior to this, and I just wonder that Trey Ford at some point is probably going to play again this season, but do you think that because I still talk to people in the organization, they still feel he's the future, he's just not the now, which isn't the end of the world. But what do you make of is Cody Fajardo maybe better suited for a guy to Trey Ford work under?
Well, their styles are more similar, right? I mean, that's the one thing, is that when you had McLeod Bethel-Thompson there, I don't know how much of his style of play Trey Ford could adopt or learn from, because they're just very, very different quarterbacks, where Cody Fajardo is more that guy who's going to throw on the run, who's going to play off the edges a little more and take advantage of his mobility. And look, I talked to Davis Alexander this spring or earlier this summer a little bit about his development in Montreal, and he cited his relationship with Cody as being a big part of what helped him be ready to be a starter. And he kind of even joked. He said to me, he said when he got traded and I became the number one quarterback, he said, we kind of had to let that marinate a little bit. Which, they did not stay in touch as closely as they had for a little while. But then he said to me, no, but we're back in touch now. It's all good, and this was before, Cody was starting games in Edmonton. So, he was certainly a guy that Davis Alexander was able to learn from. And so I don't know why it would be different necessarily for Trey Ford. And the tricky thing I think Edmonton's in right now is that I don't think Cody is the future necessarily, because I know in Montreal, I haven't asked Cody Fajardo this, but I know that one of the things I heard from the guys in Montreal was part of why they moved on was they weren't convinced that Cody Fajardo wants to play 4 more years of football. You know what I mean? That he's not necessarily a guy who wants to play, into his late 30s. And so, and again, I let Cody speak for himself on that one. So I want to be clear, that doesn't come from him. That came from sort of management level in Montreal. And that was part of why they thought, well, we don't, if we commit to Cody again, we may be looking for a quarterback in a couple of years. And by that time, Davis Alexander's playing for somebody else. Mm-hmm. So, if in Edmonton, you got sort of the same dynamic. If he's not your quarterback in the future, then you got to decide if Trey Ford is. And the tricky thing now for Edmonton is, look, you had new everything this year, right? New owner, new GM, new president, new coach. And yes, you inherit the losing seasons, and there is pressure just by inheriting losing seasons from somebody else. But in reality, your seat isn't warm. It's ice cold when you take over new. So they had a runway where there wasn't going to be that kind of pressure. And there was, an opportunity for Trey Ford to take that 6 or 7 weeks and get better. And there were stretches of it where he seemed to, but the last game that he started was probably his worst. And when you actually, again, going through the metrics of Edmonton's offense, going into that game against Saskatchewan, it's the same thing. Overall, the performance was right at the bottom of the league in most of the critical categories. So the question becomes, okay, in what situation is the Edmonton staff going to be in that would allow them to give Trey Ford another run? Now, obviously, if Cody Fajardo gets hurt, that's a circumstance that would bring it that way. And, who knows? I mean, we saw with Bo Levi Mitchell last year. He gets benched, presumes he's lost his job, presumes he's never starting again for Hamilton. First game, he's on the bench. Taylor Powell gets hurt. Bo Levi Mitchell's back. He ends up as the Eastern nominee for most outstanding player, and I believe is the betting favorite for MOP this season. But, it's a lot easier to convince yourself that Bo Levi Mitchell could get off the bench and turn himself into something different than because he'd done it before.
Right.
Although there was a lot of doubt just because he hadn't done it for a while. With Trey Ford, you're asking him to do something he's never done. So I think, I don't know that barring an injury, Trey Ford gets another runway like he did at the start of this season to show that he can be the guy. I mean, it's one thing I remember Ken Austin saying to me. We talked about quarterbacks years and years and years ago, and he used this line. He said, the one thing I knew about playing in this league when I was here, he goes, is that when they turn to you and they hand you the ball and say it's your turn, you better be ready and you better be able to perform, because if you can't, they're going to move on to the next guy.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Dave, great stuff, man. Enjoy the weekend. We appreciate it. Enjoy a long weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.
Hey, thanks very much. Always enjoy talking ball with you, Jason.
There you go. That's Dave Naylor from TSN 242. We got a lot of texts. We asked the question. Very simple question. Yes or no answer. Does Evan Bouchard make the Olympic team? He's on the orientation roster. If you missed it, 4 Oilers, McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, and Bouchard are 4 of the 42 players. The only team in the NHL with more Canadians going to the camp. Florida has 5. They've got Marchand, Bennett, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, and Ekblad. So how many of those guys make it? 2 for sure. I think Reinhart and Bennett. I'm not sold that Marchand's a lock. We'll see how the first half of the season goes. Take a quick break. We'll come back. And, you always like it when it's a matchup that has playoff implications. We'll talk about it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 air conditioning install company for slushy lovers. Because while a slushy keeps you cool as an 80s song for a moment, AC from Legacy keeps you cold as ice all season long. A permanent full-body slushy sensation keeping you cold as ice with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Keeping you cool without the brain freeze. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
McDonald's summer drink days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's Summer Drink Days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Edmonton Elks Salute to Service, presented by James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. August 2nd, 1300 hours. EE battles the Ticats. Catch the Royal Canadian Air Force pregame flyover, the Salute to Service flag football tournament, and more. Tickets start at just $20 at GoElks.com.
The 8th annual Oilers Nation Open tees off Friday, August 29th at 9 a.m. A Texas scramble with fellow golfers, sports fans, and maybe even a few local personalities. Great shots, cold drinks, and a great cause. Gregor's Grads. Sign up at nationgear.ca.
Since 1963, Bashaw Concrete Products has been helping Albertans complete projects of all sizes. The highest quality ready mix and grout, septic tanks made to last, prompt delivery. Like I said, they're always happy to help. In fact, they'll even find you a nearby concrete finisher for your next project. Maybe it's a foundation for a home or a shop floor, or you're thinking decorative concrete. Nice. They'll recommend someone as dependable as Bashaw Concrete Products. Visit bashawconcrete.com and follow them on Facebook.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
People you know will go hungry tonight. Your local food bank is like a beacon, reaching out to those in need, offering warmth, food, and hope. Visit foodbankscanada.ca and help them serve hope on a plate, because no one should weather life's hurricanes alone.
Course to this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump on OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games, Riverhawks games, and concerts at Commonwealth. See all upcoming events. Visit ontherocksyeg.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
47, welcome back. Positive Friday on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hope you're having a lovely day. It's a beautiful weekend. Man, sports, lots of it. You got Riverhawks tonight. Also, you have finally back at home the Edmonton Stingers, as they were 12-7, having a very good season, and they take on the Bandits. Really, I think right now they are the top team in the league. There's Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Niagara that I would say are the top four teams. A little bit of separation between them and everybody else. And the Stingers are looking for a little revenge, I would think, as we get to our basketball report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. Jordan Baker should be joining us in a second, but we got a lot of texts to the question about Evan Bouchard. Yay or nay? And why do you think Bouchard will make the Olympic roster for Canada? Gregor, yes, he's becoming much more famous for his talent. His reputation as a big game player now extends beyond Edmonton. Hey, guys, no for Bouchard. I don't think they like his defense. And that was from Gerald. Antoine says, Gregor, I say yes on Bouchard. Anytime he skates, the stakes are raised or the games means more. He raises his level of defense and intensity. Doesn't get any more high stakes than the Olympics from Antoine. I think that's totally valid. Like Bouchard's just, if all you look at is the playoffs the last 3 years, how many defensemen in the league are better? Just in the playoffs. Name them. So I would think based on the playoffs alone, he should make it there. So speaking of playoffs, pretty certain the Stingers are in a good position to make the playoffs, but they have a chance tonight to move into a tie with Calgary for second place and move within 2 games of the Vancouver Bandits. Actually would be a game and a half, as we are joined by head coach and GM Jordan Baker. And Jordan, obviously revenge taking on the Vancouver Bandits. You faced them. It's been close games, maybe not as close as you would like. What have you seen in those early games against Vancouver that are the areas of your team's game you'd like to sharpen up a bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing overly complicated, which is nice. But it's transition defense, trying to keep them, in the half court, forcing them to play 5-on-5 instead of, running out and getting some easy ones. And then, defending the 3-point line. They're a team that wants to shoot, upwards of 50 attempts from 3. So for us, it's a matter of being engaged early in the possession. And then, later on in the possession, giving second efforts and forcing them to put the ball on the ground and attack the paint. So
when you say protect the 3-point line, do you just have your guys play higher out automatically then?
It's a combination of things. We defensively like to switch a lot of things with our, similar sized players. And that means we're not waiting behind screens for guys to attack the basket. We know they want to sit behind and shoot. So for us, it's being more aggressive on those switches. And then, with our bigs being a little bit more active early, being visible, and then, providing some help from the weak side when there's a 2-on-2 pick and roll action. There's lots of ways we can be better for sure.
Okay.
Starts with transition defense, starts with, not allowing passes up the sideline to allow people to walk into naked threes in transition. So yeah, it's a bunch of things that my guys hopefully will be able to execute tonight.
And it seems like Vancouver, when they get up, they can kind of run away from some games. If you just look at their wins, when they win, they've had a tendency to win big. But when they lose, it's kind of the opposite. That the closer the game is, that's when teams seem to have more success against them. Do you sense, are they, and this might be the wrong term, but are they like a front running team? And that once they get out, it's really hard to catch them?
I mean, I don't think so. They're well coached. They're well rounded. I mean, they really do a great job in the third quarter coming out of halftime and playing with a certain level of pace. So for us, if it's going to be a close game at halftime tonight, it's the reality of things in our league. And, if we can weather that third quarter storm, lean on our depth a little bit tonight, we're going to like the position we're in. If we give up a 35-point third quarter, then, like you said, they're going to run away from things a little bit. So there's lots of areas for us to focus on.
Jordan Baker joins us. Jordan, you're gone for quite a while, and I know you come back and practice, but then you leave. And just what do you make of that extended road trip, if you want to call it that? Even though I know you come home at times, how'd you feel your team handled it, and how much are you looking forward to? And do you find that your team maybe plays a little different at home?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely play a little bit more energized at home. We feed off the Expo Center crowd, and they do a great job of sort of being our support blanket a little bit. When things are going right, they make sure they stay in the action and give us that boost. When we're on the road, I think it's a different type of challenge. Certainly, there's only 15 people that are, in Stingers colors on the road. So it's more of an internal effort trying to, rally each other versus relying on some sort of external motivation. But at the same time, when we're on the road, we're focused on business, and, it's guys staying with each other and having team meals with each other and really getting to know each other and building the trust on and off the floor. So those extended road trips, sure, we're not in front of our home crowd, which we want to be every single night, but we're building resilience and building some camaraderie in different ways when we're on the road. And especially when we win, some close ones, it certainly helps.
Jordan, when I spoke to you at the start of the season, it's almost like you had a crystal ball, because kind of how you talked about it, it might be a little bit of a slow start. We got some guys, we got to gel. And then that's basically exactly what's happened. So now you look at where your team is and the guys you've got in here. How confident are you with this group that, and, the recent record would suggest you should be pretty confident. And it's really kind of comes down to, like you went into Niagara, you had a big win there. Like Vancouver's really the only team that you haven't found success against this year. So is there something important there? Do you feel mentally for your group to just say, hey, if we can beat them, then we can beat anybody?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's any doubt in our locker room that if we play well, we can't beat anybody in the league. And that's the nice part about the CBL is there's so much parity, and every single night anybody can beat anyone. So for us, I don't think we've put our best effort forward against Vancouver in any of the 3 times we played them. I mean, the first 2 times we played them, it was, within the first couple of weeks of the season starting. And like you said, we weren't firing on all cylinders at that time. And then, the last time we saw them, it was an odd road trip, an Ottawa-Vancouver swing trip after spending a couple of weeks on the road. So we were, maybe not at our best mentally, but, now that we're back at home, hopefully we'll put a good effort forward. And, if they play better than us, then so be it. But, our guys are confident in our abilities for sure.
You look at, just your team and your offense. And obviously, Sean East II has been a main guy for you. Scotty Lindsay's really picked up the scoring. But, like, your offense the last month and a bit has really come on. And obviously East leading it. But everybody else, like, you're getting contributions from lots of different guys. What have you liked specifically about your offense that's allowed you to become one of the high-scoring teams for the last 6 weeks?
Yeah, I think we've as bad as it sounds, gotten into a little bit better shape. We can play a little bit faster. We can play up tempo. We can score in the first 6 seconds of the possession. And when you can do that in our league, where there's not a whole lot of teams that are organized defensively to the degree where, they're going to be able to put bodies in front of the basketball in those first 6 seconds. We're able to really maximize the number of possessions we have in a ball game. And the other thing is, over the last month or so, we've been really sharing the ball. You look at our assist numbers, they're up from when they were at the beginning of the year. We're trying to create shots for guys, and that comes with, some unselfishness from the players, certainly, but it also comes from, guys being used to each other and understanding, okay, this is a spot where, Scotty wants to see the ball, or this is a spot where, Sean's going to have a little bit more space to operate. And we're not crowding guys when they need space, and we're supporting guys when they need a little bit of help. So it's a lot of, what I mentioned before, just getting used to each other and being a little more comfortable on that side of the ball as well.
Well, Jordan, always good to catch up with you. Enjoy the game tonight. Great Friday and Sunday home games for the Stingers, and I know people are excited to see the Stingers back in action, and especially anytime you can have one of the best teams come into the league against one of the best teams. It should be a hell of a game. So enjoy tonight and Sunday.
Yeah, appreciate it. We're looking forward to it.
I bet you. There's Jordan Baker, head coach of the Stingers, where of course you have Stingers at home to the first place Bandits tonight, and then they are at home on Sunday afternoon. Yeah, Sunday afternoon at 3:00 against Saskatchewan. So huge weekend potentially that they could leapfrog Calgary and pull within a game of Vancouver if you can find a way to win both of these games. And then of course this is the first of 4 consecutive home games. They're at home again next Friday and Sunday as well. So huge opportunity down the stretch for the Stingers. Coming up, we got a lot of text to get to on Bouchard. We'll get to that. We got Wanya Gretz. We're going to go around the NHL today. We always like to tie into that, remind you about the Olympic orientation camp that was announced today by Team Canada. That's coming up later this month in Calgary. It's all going to be off ice, just in case you want to, hey, can I go watch it? No, there's nothing on ice. It's going to be more mental stuff off the ice, little team building. There's 3 goalies, 13 defensemen, 26 forwards going to it. And Connor will tell you which orders will be there in a Sports 1440 update brought to you by 01 Hockeyology, located right here in West Edmonton Mall. They got 2 mini rinks. They got an off-ice section. They also use the big ice surface if you're looking to improve your shooting, passing, skills, hockey IQ camps. They got it all at 01.ca, ZERONE.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Hockey Canada announced today that they've invited 92 players from their men's, women, and para-hockey teams to attend the national team's orientation camp set for August 26th to the 28th in Calgary. Representing the Oilers, Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Evan Bouchard, and Zach Hyman. Major League Baseball today. Jays back in action, kicking off a series in Toronto against the Royals. First pitch, 5:07 tonight. They also have games tomorrow at 1 and then Sunday at 11:30. You can hear those on Force 1440 radio feed. Elsewhere, Phillies hosting the Tigers. Brewers take on the Nats. The Yankees in Miami. Rays host the Dodgers. Padres taking on the Cards. And the Mariners host the Rangers. Earlier today, Reds knocked off the Braves 3-2. And the Cubbies over the Orioles 1-0. Riverhawks open up their final home set this season, taking on the Kelowna Falcons down at Remax Field. First pitch set for 7 o'clock, and the CFL Week 9 rolls on with the Argos in Winnipeg to meet the Blue Bombers. Kickoff set for 6:30. The league is monitoring air quality for the game, but it does remain on schedule and expected to be played. Elks in action tomorrow at 1 o'clock down at Commonwealth against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Edmonton Stingers in action tonight. They'll host the 15-5 Vancouver Bandits. Tip-off at 7. And here in the mall, we've got the Hoop City FIBA 3x3 basketball. Gets going tonight at 5 o'clock. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll look the Utah Mammoth with Cole Bagley, and we'll talk some Oilers with Wanya Gretz of Oilers Nation. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Nuges Nuggets. This is Nuges Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of cooling advice does Nuge have today?
An air conditioner works by blowing air across the cold evaporator coil where the heat is absorbed into the refrigerant. I actually don't know what that means. Kind of like Zach Hyman with goaltender interference.
Sorry, Zach.
Well, you got me there.
Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of Nuges Nuggets.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensors, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It is Positive Friday. And if you're a sports fan, I can tell you right now, go to the Stingers game tonight, you will be highly entertained. Riverhawks, beautiful night for ball. Then you got the Elks tomorrow at 1 o'clock. You have the Riverhawks tomorrow night. Then you got the Stingers again on Sunday afternoon. You got a great weekend of sports. It's a long weekend. Maybe some of you going camping, going boating, fishing, biking, hiking. Man, it's going to be a great time to get outside. Lots of positive reasons to be happy right now. Be sure to stop in at Sherbrooke Liquor too. At the 6-pack banger pack we talked about yesterday. Oof, so good. So good. The Gregor Show, always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where tonight, Lotto Max, $50 million up for grabs. PlayAlberta.ca. We have lots of texts coming in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440, regarding very simple question. We always have a few different questions during the show, but the one we asked was Evan Bouchard was named, along with Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, to the Canadian orientation team. We know McDavid's making, that's a no-brainer. But what about the other three? But we started with Bouchard first. Bouchard, yay or nay? And what about Nugent Hopkins or Hyman? Do you think any of those guys will make the team or not? Is it depending on the first half? Probably. But in the case of Bouchard, he was, to me, the most interesting one to talk about. Hey, Gregor, is a one-legged duck swimming a circle? Bouchard's absolutely making it from Zads. Hey, Gregor, not a chance on Bouchard. They pass him over 3 times. His game hasn't improved that much, and the other guys can provide the offense for Mark. See, now, Mark, it's interesting you say that his game has improved. Did you watch playoffs? Did Bouchard, without Ekholm, look out of place? Played the most minutes. Didn't struggle defensively. So I don't really buy when someone suggests that his game has improved. I think it has. I think he's a legit candidate. The fact that he played as well as he did, the minutes he did, without Matthias Ekholm, who lots of people thought was kind of the security protective blanket for Bouchard. Well, that was gone in the postseason. And he still performed very well. So I think he's got a very good chance. It's not a lock. He's not Cale Makar. But I think there's a decent chance. Gregor, I don't think he makes it. He's a great puck mover, but his turnovers and defensive shortcomings will keep him off the team. Cale Makar is your power play quarterback, and no one's going to push him out of that spot. It's true, but when Evan Bouchard is one of the best puck movers around. And did he have a lot of turnovers or defensive shortcomings in the playoffs? Just yes or no? Yes, in the regular season in November and December, he'll have some. But when the games matter, has Bouchard had that? No, he hasn't. Right? He had 2 giveaways in the first game against LA. Yeah, they weren't good. But what did he do after that, the rest of the playoffs? So I think sometimes people still focus more on a bad play, and that's what they remember 10 times more than a good play. So we'll see how it goes. Do I think that there's some people in the hockey world who don't like changing their opinion? Yeah, I 100% do. Right? Like, I'm actually, the thing that surprised me most, and we've had some questions. Hey, Gregor, who do you think's the biggest omission of the camp? Well, to me, the biggest surprise is Kemper or Logan Thompson. Neither one of them is invited. They're just going with the same 3 goalies that they had on the team last year: Binnington, Hill, and Montembeault. Now, that doesn't mean another goalie can't be there. So maybe they just felt like, you know what, it's off ice. We don't need the other goalies there. I don't know, but I just found it interesting. You've got 13 defense, you got 26 forwards, but you only brought 3 goalies, and you have 3 goalies on the roster. Just seems odd to me that they didn't bring any other goalies. That's all. We'll see. I think Thompson definitely puts himself, could be in the mix. Kemper, and don't sleep on Stuart Skinner. He's been in the Stanley Cup final twice. He's played in big games. Right? Stu Skinner, in the first year under Knobloch, in 50 games, led the NHL in wins, was top 5 in goals against, was top 7 in save percentage, top 7 in goals saved above expected, which is a pretty important statistic nowadays. So, never know. I wouldn't rule it out. Like, goaltending is finicky. Like, Binnington's for sure, because he won, Binnington's on the team. That's a no-brainer. But Hill and Montembeault, I don't think they're locks. Other players who made it that I don't think Seth Jarvis, well, he wouldn't be a lock on my team. I think Brad Marchand, Seth Jarvis, those guys, they're not locks for me at all on the team. Mark Stone, not a lock for me. Only because of, A, his injury history. B, his foot speed. So, like the locks for me are McKinnon, McDavid up front. Sidney Crosby is going to be a lock on that team. Braden Point is a lock on that team. Right? Well, I think did they already name their 6 guys for the Olympics con? Did they have to do that? I think they might have had to. So they might have already been named those guys.
Yeah, they did.
Right. So it was McDavid, Point, Crosby, McKinnon, McCarr, and I can't remember who's the 6th one.
Sam Reinhart.
Okay, so there's the 6 obvious ones, but I think Mitch Marner is a lock to make that team, no question. I think Devon Toews is probably a lock to make that team, and go down. There'll be a few others, but it's going to be a good competition, right? I'm not sold. Like, I do actually. I think Sam Bennett, because what he did in the playoffs, how he played the last time, his physical style, I think he's a lock to make the team. Now, he might only play 3rd line center. That's fine. But his abrasiveness, the fact that he showed he can score big goals in the playoffs, done it now multiple times, not to the level of 16 goals, of course. I'm not expecting him to score that many, but I think I definitely think he has a very good chance. Hey, Greg, are you surprised Nurse wasn't invited? No, not really. Nurse didn't have there's only 13 defensemen invited, and I don't Nurse was okay in the playoffs. He didn't stand out. Right. And he had an okay season. So no, I'm not surprised that he's not on the list. Right. Just like Stuart Skinner. I'm not surprised at all. I wouldn't expect that Stuart Skinner to be there, to be honest. So doesn't mean he can't, but I wouldn't expect him to have made that list. Hey guys, if Nugent Hopkins is to make it, where does he fit? 4th line, Adam. I just think he's been really tough, to be honest. He's not going to be on faceoffs. So where does he fit? I think Zach Hyman has a much better chance to make it than Nugent Hopkins, right? I just think that, you've got a lot of centers, right? Sam Bennett, McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby, Point, lots of those guys, and they're already playing wing, right? Anthony Cirelli is a guy they like more at the at third, fourth line center position. So I think Mark Scheifele didn't make it last time. He's there. Robert Thomas, man, Robert Thomas. Do you guys remember from the Four Nation break till the end of the season, who led the NHL in scoring? Robert Thomas. So I think Nugent Hopkins would be, to me, I'd be surprised if he made the team. It's good for him to get, it's good to get acknowledged. Get invited, you're on the list, right? That means you got a chance for sure. That's good, but no. Hey, Greg's, what about Tom Wilson? I look at Tom Wilson. He's big. He's fast. He can score. He brings something that not a lot of guys have. That's just the truth. And it's not like he scored 33 goals last year. How many Canadians, I'd have to look it up, how many Canadian skaters scored 33 goals last year in the NHL? Right? There's not many. I just going off the top of my head. There's not many. Connor McDavid didn't do it. Right? Tom Wilson, he might have, Scheifele, Reinhart, Point, right? Tavares, Nazem Kadri, forgot he scored 35, and Brandon Hagel. Those are the guys who scored more than him last year. Now, John Tavares had an unreal year. Good that he's invited to the camp. Not sold he's a lock. I just think Tom Wilson brings you an element that you do not have. Right? He's big. He can score. He's shown he can play a lot more disciplined. Right? He was much better defensively. So, yeah, I think Tom Wilson, for sure. Hey, Gregor, Marchand's a lock, no doubt. I disagree. I honestly, I don't believe he's a lock. Brad Marchand didn't have a great regular season, and I thought he was pretty quiet at the Four Nations. He had a very good playoffs, and maybe that spurs him on. We'll see. But I'm not sold he's a lock. Remember, he was one of the original 6 locks that time. It wasn't this year. So I don't think Brad Marchand's a lock. He's got a good chance, but he's not a lock for me. You a lock for you, Cons?
No, not a lock for sure. But I mean, very impressed with what he did, like you said, in the postseason. Showed he can obviously still play that high level. Scored some huge goals. And I think a guy you kind of like to have in the room, but not a lock. No, I still want to see how this season plays out. There's lots of hockey to be played. Like you said, the guys we've already mentioned, those 6, those are my locks. The rest, I do kind of want to see who raises their game and what they do in these first, whatever it's going to be, 40 some odd games before we get to the Olympic break. I kind of want to see who steps up, who shows they can still play. And other than that, yeah, well, we'll wait and see. I think he's got a good chance, but by no means for me is he a lock yet.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Quick break. Actually, you know what? Got a courtesy of Elks Nation. We got a few pairs of tickets to the game tomorrow. Nice seats. If you want to go to the Elks Ticats game tomorrow afternoon, I got 2 pairs. So we'll give away to 2 people. Just text in that 100% you can go, because we don't like giving away tickets if you can't go. Make sure you can go. 833-401-1440. It's a 1 o'clock start tomorrow afternoon. 833-401-1440. I've had some people ask, well, Gregor, what side of the stadium? Honestly, I was at practice at 1 o'clock. I'm standing on the field, and guess what? It's sunny everywhere at that time of the day. The only people that will be in the shade are those who have the seats under the overhang. I think it's like the top 8 rows of the bottom deck. It's going to be perfect. So bring your sunglasses. Bring some sunscreen, because it's going to be an unbelievable day to watch some football tomorrow afternoon. If you want to go, 833-401-1440. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a 1-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC Terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
McDonald's summer drink days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's summer drink days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
If you're looking for the ultimate off-road adventure, you'll find it in a Jeep Wrangler. And if you're looking for the ultimate financing deal on a Wrangler, you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Right now, St. Albert Dodge is offering 0% financing for up to 72 months OAC on their full selection of 2025 Jeep Wranglers. And it's a great selection. Sport, Willys, Sahara, and Rubicon, plus all the new colors, all on the lot ready to go at 0%. Come see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
From Lloydminster to Lacrete, from Lethbridge to Lake Louise, and everywhere in between in this beautiful province, for almost 40 years, Alberta Dreams has been bringing joy and hope to seriously and chronically ill children. We've brightened the lives of over 1,200 families by giving them precious moments of happiness that create lasting memories beyond their challenging days. Please visit albertadreams.ca today and become part of something truly special for these deserving kids in our province. Alberta Dreams, a child, a wish, a dream come true.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Cons is going through it, and guess what? Little bonus courtesy of PlayAlberta.ca. We have another pair of tickets to give away. So all of you who text in, your odds just got better because we'll give away 3 of them. So Cons will be responding. Be sure you reply to him right away if he reaches out to you. So there you go. And then we can book those, and you'll be going to the game tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock. In case you're running, Cody Fajardo, 6-1 all time against Hamilton. Dare to dream, Elks fans. Dare to dream. We'll see what happens on that front. Now, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And it's a heat wave right now. And McDonald's will help cool you off. $2 Sundays, $2 snack size shakes. And even better, download the McDonald's app and you can order through the app only. $1 cones only at McDonald's. And today we're going to stop in a place we haven't chatted about this offseason. They made some moves. They signed a few other guys to extensions. They got the name, they got the mascot, the Utah Mammoth. Cole Begley from KSL Sports in Salt Lake City joins us. Cole, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Jason?
I'm doing very well. The excitement, you come into a new team and everybody's excited, and now you got a team name, which I'm sure is nice with a logo. Let's start there. How upset at all were people in Utah that the Yeti could not be used courtesy of the Yeti coolers?
I think there was some initial frustrations. I think that was the direction that the team was definitely headed, but obviously we're not able to come to an agreement with Yeti coolers. And so they quickly shifted, and Mammoth has just been fully embraced by not only the organization, obviously, but the fan base as well. And what's been kind of cool is to kind of realize like how significant, the Mammoth history is in Utah. I think one of the most complete Mammoth skeletons has been found in eastern Utah. The owner Ryan Smith kind of made a comment on that when they announced the name by saying, look, as we kind of shifted this way, as we kind of dug into this a little bit more, the Mammoth really just kind of came to life in the history of it here in Utah. And people have loved it. And I think they did a great job of integrating a lot of symbols and meaningful icons into the logo with the state of Utah, the M, the curved tusk in the form of a U, and then of course the Wasatch Mountains up on top. So they did a great job, and fans are really pleased with it.
So you look and, it's only the second year in the league, and, they had a competitive team last year that was decimated by injuries on the back end. They went out and, they weren't sitting on their hands. They acquired J.J. Peterka from Buffalo. That's obviously the big deal for them to go along with Keller and Gunther and Nick Schmaltz up front. They signed Jack McBain to a pretty big extension, committed to him. They brought in Turbo, Brandon Tanev to add a little excitement. But, and then Nate Schmidt, the Stanley Cup winner. I guess look at their overall team, and if their defense stays healthy, do you think they're a playoff team?
That's a good question. I mean, the Central Division is just such a tough division. Obviously, the West as a whole is brutal right now. And but yeah, I mean, I do think if they can stay healthy, I think Utah will be able to snag one of those wild card spots. I don't know that they're necessarily ready to snag a spot in the division, right, with Minnesota and Winnipeg, and just how difficult and hard to navigate that division is right now. Colorado, of course. So I do think if they can stay relatively healthy, I think they can snag a wild card spot, which would be fantastic, right? I mean, playoff hockey is unlike anything else, and for Utah to experience that in just year two would be such a special opportunity and experience.
Jack McBain, maybe for a lot of people outside of you don't understand. Like, I look at him and think, like, this guy's Adam Lowry. I think he's the next Adam Lowry. He's tough. He's physical. He's got some offense. He's an ideal third line center. Maybe they play him up, at times in the lineup. But he's a huge addition for their team, especially because they if there's one knock on Utah is that they have a lot of small forwards.
Yeah, they're pretty small up front, especially when you look at the top six. I think that top line is probably going to be Keller, Cooley, and Gunther. And then the second one, you're probably looking at, Schmaltz, Hayton, and their new addition in Peterka. And so, yeah, you kind of go down into those bottom six, and that's where the size comes in. I do like Jack McBain on that third line. I like that they brought him back, but I do think that McBain is looking at that contract, and I think he needs to play into a little bit. The amount of money that they paid him, he's a guy that's averaged 26.5 points over the last 3 seasons, and you're paying him over $4 million. To me, I think there's a little bit of concern that they may have overpaid him, but I think I agree with you. I think there's a lot of potential there. I think he does have a good amount of size, but in terms of points production, McBain has a ways to go. If he can start to play, more into that contract, if he can, start to average maybe up into the high 30s, into the low 40s, definitely prove me wrong. But I think right now, that contract's a little hefty, but I get it. They needed the size, and so I think that's why Utah. And there's a strong belief in him. So I think that Utah feels comfortable with it. But for myself, I know some of the fan base, there's a little bit of worry of how much they commit to. But another positive is, hey, the cap's going up, and you needed some size, so they needed to get the deal done with Jack, and I think they were more than happy to pay him what they did.
Looking at the goaltending. You know what? They love Connor Ingram, then of course now Connor Ingram's not there. He's got some mental health challenges right now. So Vejmelka, who was their guy, and then he lost it, but then he regained it, which is kind of symbolic maybe of the goalie position. Vitek Vanasak, who didn't play. I know he won a cup, but didn't play. You look at Vejmelka, and 2 years ago they were like, "Oh, this guy's great," and then he struggled, and it was Ingram, and then he had to regain that. What did you see in his play that allowed him to regain it?
Confidence, a lot of regained confidence through consistency. Being able. I think Vejmelka is the type of goaltender that he doesn't really thrive as a backup necessarily. I think he needs to more so be a 1B guy or a 1A as he is right now. He's definitely their starter. He secured a bag before the end of the season, so he's here and locked up long term. But I think for him, it just was consistently starting, between the pipes. He's a guy that really seems to thrive off of that. He built off of performances. I think it boosted his confidence, and now it's his net. Obviously, they brought in Vanacek to back him up, but I would expect Veggie to get probably 40 to 50 starts in goal. I think that's kind of what we're looking at. Obviously, he had that streak last season where I think he started 23 or 24 games in a row, and he was fantastic. He had his best season in terms of save percentage. I believe he was, I want to say, .908, .907. So, a solid year for Vejmelka, the highest that he's ever had. And then, his goals against were also the best of his career. So I think overall it just was consistency. And then, the Utah fan base just kind of fell in love with him. And I had some conversations with members of the team that said, we're really happy for Vejmelka, but if you had asked us going into the year who would have been the fan favorite, it probably wouldn't have been Veggie. But it's, he's very kind of soft spoken, but when he does speak, the fans just eat it up. When we were going through exit interviews, he said that he loves Utah as a country, and Utah fans just ate that up, obviously, because, English isn't his first language. And so, but, just the way that he said it, and, he meant it honestly. This guy is posting pictures of hikes, in the mountains in Utah. He's going down to study. He loves it, and he's fully embraced it. The fans have embraced him. And so I think it was just a combination of, the team is relying on me. I'm showing up, I'm helping them stay in the playoff race. And so, finding that consistency. And then he just was, he ate off that energy. The fans fell in love with him. They're wearing broccoli hats all throughout the stadium. So it was a fun year for Vejmelka, and I expect him to build on it going into this season.
Cole Begley joins us talking Utah Mammoth, of course, pretty big offseason for them. The J.J. Peterka trade was the big one. Yeah. When you look at Doan and Kesselring, what do you see them as players? Is Kesselring really a second line defenseman, or was he more of a third guy once everybody got healthy? Where do you see him? And then what do you think about Doan, the two guys they moved on from?
Yeah. Once everybody was healthy, Kesselring was definitely a third line defenseman. I think his ceiling is a second line, defenseman. I do think he's good. But there were some moments where, he kind of got caught sleeping. He gave up some, bad goals off the rush, or maybe he was pinching a little bit high. I do like his offensive upside, but he had one of the worst, I think, shooting percentages on the team, and he actually shot the puck quite a bit. Now he did have some absolute lasers. He found the back of the net quite a few times. And so Buffalo's getting a good defenseman. I don't know that he's ever going to be a top line, D-man, at any point in his career. I think, like I said, his ceiling is is a second line, in my opinion. And I think in Buffalo, that's where they would probably expect him to play. They needed some help on defense, and that was a big part of why the deal got done. Is Utah was willing to give him up. So you wish the best for him, and we'll see how he ends up doing out there for the Sabres. In terms of Josh Doan, I think he's one of those kind of glue type players. Really good personality in the locker room. And then he just has a relentless motor. This is a guy that, is skating harder than anybody else. He's forechecking, he's back checking, he's digging in the corners, he's battling in front of the net. To me, that was, when I saw the deal, I understood it. I think I liked it for Utah, but when I saw Doan's name was attached, I kind of went, oh man, that's a tough guy to give up. I think he does have a lot of potential. In terms of looking ahead to his future, I think he could be a second line forward at some point in his career. But I think for now, he'll probably be a third line guy, but he's solid. Like I said, he's the type of player you want to have on your team because he's a glue type skater. And, he never gives up. He gives 110% at all times. And he's got a decent amount of upside. He's got a lot, I think, in terms of offense. He had a lot of breakaways that he missed and shots that were just off the pipe or just barely over the top or wide. And he would be the first to admit that. So, they're getting two just top-notch guys, good players that I think, makes the deal make a lot of sense on both ends.
And Peterka, if you're doing it today in early August, who do you see him playing with?
Oh, I think he's on that second line. I think he's going to be playing with Schmaltz and Hayton. I think it adds a lot of good depth to Utah's top six. It was interesting, right? I mean, if you paid attention to the headlines all towards the end of the year and then throughout most of the summer until, free agency opened up and the draft and whatnot, it seemed like Utah was connected to everybody. It seemed like Utah, everybody's saying, oh, Utah's going in on Marner. Oh, they're going in on Sam Bennett. Oh, they're going in on Marchand. And so I think it kind of put fans off a little bit when, Peterka was the big swing. But they're kind of coming around and realizing, okay, and personally, I like it better than going and getting a Marner or a Marchand or a Bennett because it fits the timeline of the Mammoth. It adds yet another young player who's very good, right? He had 68 points last season, career highs in goals and assists. He's just 23 years old, and so he fits that time range that they're looking for because Utah's not going to be competing for Stanley Cups for at least 4 or 5 seasons. But I think when you start to get Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther and JJ Peterka, into the 26, 27, 28 years old, and you have all these young prospects like, TJ Ginla and Cole Baudouin and Daniil Boot and Dmitry Simashev and Caleb Desnoyers, when they start to really come into their prime, that's when Utah's going to be good. And so that's why I like that swing, is because Peterka is a very promising young player. He needs to work on his defensive game, but he fully understands that. But offensively, they needed to take a swing. They got it, and they got a guy that fits their timeline. I expect him to start on that second forward line, and then we'll see which power play unit he ends up on.
So then that leaves Guenther with Keller and Logan Cooley. And Logan Cooley, he might be the best, most skilled forward they have.
I would say, yeah. Logan is, he obviously grew up in Pittsburgh, and he looked up to guys like Crosby and Kane and Ovechkin, and I see a lot of those types of characteristics in his game. I'm not necessarily comparing. I'm not saying that Logan Cooley's the next Sidney Crosby or Patrick Kane, but you can see flashes of it. You can see in the way that he controls his body, his ability to survey the zone, the speed of his game. I would say that Logan Cooley is the most talented overall player on the Mammoth roster. And, if he's around for, another 7-8 seasons plus, I think this is maybe the next captain for the Mammoth once Keller, has served his time and is done.
What about defensively? Is there anybody you see, or is it set? Marino and Sergachev, Mata, Dursey, Cole, Schmidt. Is it pretty much set, or they got anybody that might surprise?
Keep your eyes on Dmitry Simashev. This is a 20-year-old defenseman coming over from the KHL. He was teammates with Daniil Boot on Locomotive, who actually won the championship over there this last spring. Bill Armstrong has said that he expects Simashev to play some minutes. And so while I think those 3 lines that you mentioned are going to be the day one lines, watch for Simashev. How quickly, can he insert himself into the lineup? And, knock on wood, but injuries they just happen, right? Like they're inevitable. Someone at some point is going to miss a game. And I think Simashev will be the first one to step in when injury happens. It'll be interesting to see how he does. He is one of the most elite defensive skaters I've ever seen. We watched him in development camp a couple weeks ago, and he was just head and shoulders above everybody else. His turns, his transitions, how quickly he's able to close gaps, and he's been making sure that he works on his offensive game to get a lot more involved. And so keep an eye on Dmitry Simashev. I think we'll see some minutes from him. I think he'll surprise people, and we'll see if he can't, push for a cemented roster spot as the season goes on.
Awesome stuff, Cole. I really appreciate one last one. How's the rink renovations going?
Oh, so good. Utah is about to have, I think, one of the best arena and practice facility duos in the entire NHL. What they're able to do at Delta Center is pretty incredible. The lower bowl is expected to be finished by this year, so there will be no more obstructed seats in the lower bowl setting. Okay. And I don't know how it all works, but they're raising the ice about 2 or 3 feet, and then they've got these seats that are retractable that I think go 12 feet straight up. So it's going to be really steep, inside the Delta Center, but it's going to be a very intimate and loud place, as it already was. But the upgrades are going well, and that practice facility is supposed to be ready for the players on September 1st. And so we should see rookie camp and training camp out there. It's going to be excellent. The players are raving about it. We asked Michael Carcone, when he re-signed a few weeks ago, what he's hearing about it. And this is a guy that, trains up in Toronto. And so he's around some of the premier talent in the NHL. And he said that Draisaitl and McDavid were even, having conversations about, hearing good things, and Steven Stamkos. So it's going to be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And, Delta Center is a very loud place to play, and it's only going to get worse.
So you said that no obstructive views. They're gonna raise the ice surface a few feet, and then the seats are retractable.
Yes, and I believe they go 12 feet, like almost straight up, and that was the only way they could do it, because this is a basketball arena, right?
Yeah.
Like this was not built for hockey, and so last year, they had to make do with what they had, but. They have a really interesting plan to fix everything and make sure that everybody can see from every angle. And I believe in the lower bowl this season, there should be 400 more seats, because now people can, I think, sit in some of those corners that didn't have seats before, and there should be more up close on the boards and on the ice. So, it should be exciting to see here. Hopefully, they've only got about 6 weeks, until we start really going here. So, I'm sure they're working, days and nights and making sure they get it done.
No, that's not. It intrigues me. Now I want to go. I want to just go see it and experience it. When you have like a basketball game and then go the next game, you go to hockey.
Yeah,
sitting up higher.
I love it. Come on down.
I will.
Yeah, come on down. Get your dirty soda. Come on down. Go skiing and come see a basketball game and a hockey game at the Delta Center. You won't be disappointed.
Awesome stuff, Cole. Really appreciate it, man. Have yourself a great day.
You too. Thank you.
There you go. That's Cole Begley, the Mammoth. They got some good player, and I'm telling you, don't sleep on Logan Cooley. Clayton Keller's good, and obviously Dylan Gunther's good, but I think Logan Cooley's the guy who they believe is going to be their number one center long term. He's really skilled. So you got Cooley and Gunther and Keller, Schmaltz, Hayton, Paterka. My only concern is I'm looking at Utah's forward group, and their top 6 is just too small. They'll be skilled, they'll be good, but and they might be good enough to get you to the playoffs, but you don't have enough diversity yet of different size and skill sets in their top 6, but you got some skill, and that's a good thing. Right now for them, you just want to get to the playoffs. We need to see how it goes. 3:39, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got Cam Tate, the 2-minute warning. Also, we will hear later on Eddie Steele. We'll talk some football. We got Wanya Gratz, Spec, LT on a busy Friday afternoon on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Mr. Rooter connects with Gen Z.
I have 84 followers, as my niece would say. Slay.
No, that's cringe.
How do I get more?
You're a plumber. Make a skibbity toilet joke.
A skibbity what now?
Or make a fashion calendar full of super hot plumbers, plumbers with drip.
Young lady, I'd appreciate it if you'd stop acting so thirsty around my employees.
Burn, Uncle Mr. Rooter.
Slay.
For a plumber who cooks, call Mr. Rooter.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal. Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
McDonald's summer drink days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's summer drink days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
It's the Brick's Great Canadian Staycation Sale. This long weekend, score hot summer savings like up to 25% off outdoor furniture and free local delivery on outdoor furniture purchases of $4.99 or more. Mattresses start at just $149, and queen-size beds start at just $299. Save up to $1,000 off genuine leather sofas and sections. Plus, save the tax when you buy 2 or more major kitchen appliances. The Brick, saving you more. Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd, get the triple plate. 3 large specialty or 5-topping pizzas for only $54 when you use promo code 3PLAY at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Awesome Friday continues on. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Congratulations to Greg, Jeff, and Ryan. They are the winners going to the game on Saturday. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoy it. Should be a perfect day to go. I like it. We got lots more other texts coming in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, why isn't Logan Thompson on the list? Honestly, Vinny, I have no idea. I'm surprised that there's only the 3 goalies, and it's exact 3 goalies they had at the last one. You're telling me like Look at Darcy Kemper's numbers last year. Look at Logan Thompson's numbers last year. Like, they can't even get an invite. So that's a little surprising to me. Now, I assume that just because you're not there doesn't mean that you can't make the team, right? If somebody's playing lights out, again, why wouldn't you? Like Darcy Kemper, you could add an argument, could have won the Vezina last year. Yeah, he finished second. Woodley talked about how he had a much harder environment to make saves than Hellebuck, and basically made almost the exact same. Their save percentage of goals against was almost identical, very close. So if he has another good one, he's an option. Logan Thompson had a great season. So mostly, I think Binnington, because of what he did, he's on the team automatically. It's just a matter of where he's going to go. You know what? The same management team, I understand why. Like, why would, Binnington, he made some big saves when he needed. There's no reason why he's not there. But I don't think it's a lock that Aiden Hill's there. Do you? So, hey, guys, who'd be a surprise pick to make the team? Adam. I don't know. Well, today, if I listen today, it's not really a surprise. So, there's some guys who I would say any skater who wasn't invited to the camp, that would, at this point, would be a surprise to me. Any of them. Because anybody who's on the list isn't a surprise. So it would have to be somebody who's off the list. Right? Although even if Macklin Celebrini made the team, that'd be a surprise to me. I know he's on the list. He's a young guy. They really like him, but he would have to play like lights out of his mind, I think, in the first half to get there. So we'll see. Interesting little side note that the newest Blue Jay, Shane Bieber, is in Toronto right now. He's going to throw like a bullpen scenario. They're saying he might go to AAA on Sunday to make another start. But I'm curious. There's projections. Maybe he's back in the majors by the 15th of August. It would be rather interesting to see when he potentially makes his debut with the Blue Jays. And because of all the trades. Because Shane Bieber hasn't pitched all year long, but where he's at, like, he could be the best deadline acquisition if he's healthy. It's a big if, but that would be a rather big one for sure. So, hey guys, do you think Bouchard will have to play well in the first half to make it? Maybe, but I guess I look at it this way. Evan Bouchard has shown now 3 years in a row, when the games matter the most, he elevates his game. Right? You can't argue that. There's no one. Let's just run through some of the numbers, and I'm talking about the playoff. Right? Like, let's run through playoff numbers, and tell me how anyone could argue that in the playoffs, Evan Bouchard, has there been a better defenseman the last 3 years? Right? In the postseason. First of all, of all the players in the league in the last 3 years in the playoffs, the only two to have more points are McDavid and Draisaitl. Okay? Evan Bouchard, this is 3 playoff years. Evan Bouchard has averaged 1.22 points per game. Now, McDavid averaged more. Draisaitl, Kempe in 17 games. McKinnon in 25 games. Rantanen in 36. Bouchard's played 59 games, and he's averaged 1.22 points per game. Like, it's hard to look and say, well, geez, he's going to have to play well in November to show what he's capable of. I would disagree. Right? I would strongly disagree. Like, look at a guy like Thomas Harley's played 56 games. Bouchard's played 59. Thomas Harley has 27 points. He's -1. Bouchard has 72 points. He's +16. And if you want to say, but Gregor, it's power play points. Okay, look at even strength points. Bouchard 37, Thomas Harley 18. I'm hard pressed to find better defensemen in the postseason the last 3 years. Now, you can talk about, and you can get upset about him making some ill-advised giveaways in the regular season. because you can't defend it. He's made some, no question. But in the playoffs, like, he's on another level of everybody else. Aaron Ekblad's played more games than him, 63. Ekblad has 27 points. Bouchard has 72 points. Like, what are we doing? He's got twice as many even strength points. He's got way more shots. Like, find me a statistic. Right? Find me a statistic that says, well, geez, I don't know if I can have Evan Bouchard on the team. Like, I'm sorry. I can't find one to tell you why he shouldn't be there. Because he's shown because people are going to bring up, oh, he's not good defensively. Well, what about the playoffs? Does the games matter more? Is the intensity higher in the playoffs? Yes. And how's Bouchard fared the last few years? Pretty damn good. How'd he fare without Matthias Ekholm? Just fine. So I honestly, if Bouchard has a few giveaways in November and that's why he's not on Team Canada's list, then they have a preconceived decision already made, and it's not going to matter. Because if you haven't watched if you've watched the last 3 playoffs, I think it's a very easy decision. I'd have him on my team. I don't care about the power. You're going to have 2 power play units. You're not going to play the first power play unit on your Olympic team. So if Bouchard's on your second power play unit, guess what? Now you got a really good second power play unit with all the other skill forwards that you have. Because look at the forwards. Who did they have last year? McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby. And was it Stone? I think. Okay. So Mitch Marner's on your second unit power play. Braden Point's on your second unit power play. Evan Bouchard's on your second unit power play. I'd say that's pretty good second unit power play. And Evan Bouchard has shown he can defend in meaningful games. So I would now here's the counterpoint. If I was an Oilers fan, you might be better off to have Bouchard not on the team. Because you know Draisaitl's making Germany and you know the McDavid's making Canada. Do you want all your big minute eaters at the Olympics? For the experience, probably. But selfishly, I could see an argument that says, well, maybe it might be better for us. Maybe. Hey, Greg, think Nurse can make the team? No. I do not. I don't see I really don't see any reason. Hey, Gregor, why are we talking about points now from really good defensemen? Hey, Mitchell, did you hear what I said about defensively, Mitchell? Why don't you go look at Bouchard? His goals for, goals against in the playoffs. Just go look it up. If you think that Evan Bouchard's only offense, I just said what his plus minus was, and his even strength points, and when you produce that much. When you're a 1.22 points a game player in the freaking playoffs, yes, it matters. What the hell are we talking about? Right? Guys who move the puck efficiently, guess what? They don't have to defend as much. It's kind of obvious. Like, I'm sorry here. Did you guys not watch the playoffs? Did you watch the playoffs? Yes or no? Just answer the question. Did you watch the playoffs? Was Evan Bouchard bad defensively in the playoffs? Yes or no? Like, stop with the lunacy. Yeah, but you know what, Gregory had a giveaway one game in November. I didn't like it. Okay, great. It's great analysis. He had a giveaway in November. Holy crap. I guess he's just brutal. Get rid of him. Right? Like, give me a break. Gustav Forsling, supposed to be the great defenseman, right? Guess who was on the ice for more goals against in the playoffs the last 3 years? Forsling or Bouchard? Gustav Forsling. Okay. So maybe, just maybe, some people might have to readjust because you get upset about a lackadaisical play in the regular season. In the playoffs, Evan Bouchard, he had one bad game defensively against LA. That was it. After that, solid. Played tons of minutes. Didn't have Ekholm. Wasn't bothered. There's more than just, but when your points are that much better than everyone else, damn right you got to talk about it. And then you look at his goals for, goals against. Look at his shots for, shots against. Like, his shot for percentage, 59 point. Like, here's shots against Evan Bouchard, 421. Gustav Forsling, 597. Goals against Bouchard, 45. Gustav Forsling, 48. And oh, by the way, Evan Bouchard isn't playing with Bobrovsky because you all say that Stuart Skinner sucks. So Stuart Skinner sucks. He has the worst goalie in Bouchard, but he also has fewer goals against. What other argument are you looking for? Stop it. Let's get to Connor Halley. Can't have it all. You can't say Skinner sucks, and then Bouchard's terrible defensively, but he's got better goals against, better shot against percentage than a guy like Gustav Forsling, who's a really good defender. Right? Don't speak out of both sides of your mouth. It's not good. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where they are hiring. Want a great job? You get a hiring bonus. You will have matching RSPs. You get tuition reimbursement, and you work for a great company that loves sports. Apply today at legacyheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Hockey Canada announced today that they've invited 92 players from their men's, women's, and para hockey teams to attend the National Orientation Camp set for August 26th to the 28th in Calgary, representing the Oilers. McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Evan Bouchard, and Zach Hyman. Major League Baseball, Jays in action, kicking off a series with the Kansas City Royals. First pitch, 5:07. They'll also meet Saturday and Sunday. Elsewhere, you got the Astros and Red Sox. Guardians host the Twins. Giants head to New York, taking on the Mets. Rays host the Dodgers. Cards and Padres. Mariners host the Rangers. And the Athletics taking on the Diamondbacks earlier today. Reds over the Braves 3-2. And the Cubs down the Orioles 1-0. Riverhawks in action tonight, hosting Kelowna. That gets going just after 7 o'clock in the CFL. Week 9 rolls on with the Argos and Winnipeg taking on the Bombers. The Elks in action tomorrow, 1 o'clock, hosting the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and the Stingers in action tonight, hosting the 15-5 Vancouver Bandits. Tip-off set for 7 p.m. here at the Mall. Hoop City FIBA 3x3 gets going 5 o'clock. That also continues tomorrow and Sunday. And in the WNBA, full set of games. You got the Dream Mercury, Liberty taking on the Sun, Sky host the Valkyries, Fever in Dallas, and the Storm up against the Sparks. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Wanye Gretz from Oilers Nation. We'll talk some Elks with Eddie Steele from Elks Nation and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquessential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Center. TNA Wrestling makes its explosive debut at the Expo Center on Friday, September 26th and Saturday, September 27th for back-to-back nights. Buy your tickets online today. Learn more about what's happening at the Expo Center by visiting the calendar of events online at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
McDonald's summer drink days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's summer drink days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's and Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way. Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Riverhawks beef jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhauk beef jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Your Edmonton Riverhawks are celebrating Christmas early this Sunday afternoon at 1. Bring a toy donation for Santa's Anonymous, and you can win a gift for yourself, like a new e-bike.
Get your tickets today to watch the Hawks play at gohawks.ca.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on the Ford you want. Visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca today.
Easy airport parking? Choose Park to Go. Edmonton's top-rated provider on Google. Book self-park or valet and save up to 30% with promo code RADIO. Visit park2go.ca. That's RADIO.
Listen to over 500 radio stations from anywhere in Canada with Radio Player Canada, the must-have app that's as Canadian as you are. Friendly, ready to party, great company. Enjoy every type of radio station, anywhere, anytime. Listen through your phone, Sonos, Google Chromecast, Google Home, Amazon Echo, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. Download the Radio Player Canada app today. It's where Canadian radio plays.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendinitis to post-surgical knees and hips, we fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.401. Welcome back. Positive Friday, Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely day. Positive Friday. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. You'll get a free $50 play. PlayAlberta.ca. Welcome to the show. Motors Nation, Monty and Gretz. Monty, how you doing?
I see you laid an August trap for me outside when I was coming in. I was walking in ready to start talking about the hockey, and the intern Josh was waiting, and he said, Wanye, stop. Gregor wants you to talk to me and says, go on the radio after you talk to me. I said, this is trickery. I'm here to talk about the Draisaitl wedding, not have a meeting with the intern about stuff we should be talking about.
Do you know anything about the Draisaitl?
I know everything about the Draisaitl wedding.
Like what?
Like looking at the photos of the people going to the Draisaitl wedding and looking at who they're tagging and looking at theirs and going on and on. It looks beautiful.
Well, I would hope so. You got $100 million. You can probably afford some stuff.
Same stylist as Lauren and Connor's wedding too. Like the wedding planner person.
Really?
Yep.
Probably a good gig.
Unreal. She's also got them in Vogue Australia. So you would expect Leon's to also be in Vogue Australia.
I guess if that stuff matters.
It mattered to me and all the other Lauren Kyle fans who tolerate Connor McDavid out there.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Leon's going to wear a tuxedo. Who's his best man going to be? These are the questions, Gregor.
I guess.
What? I wish they streamed it. I wish there was a German announcer and an English one, and there were two streams I could watch live the entire time. Remember when Gretzky got married? Half the town showed up.
Well, no. It was still like, somebody would have to refresh my memory, but I don't just think randoms could come into the church.
You could stand on Jasper Avenue and hoot and holler as they drove by.
Oh, well, yeah, you could do that.
Why don't we get a chance to do that? Because they were so in the practice of parades by the time Gretzky got married that everything's a parade at that point.
Yeah, potentially true. So
Leon needs a wedding parade like Gretzky had. I'd be first in line.
You know what? There's probably a lot of fans who might be in the same vein as you on that.
I had an Australian person look for a Vogue magazine that I assumed would have Lauren Kyle and Connor McDavid's wedding photos in it. I said, send it to me hard copy. They could never find it.
That's unfortunate.
It's sad.
Okay,
man.
well, let's get to some real stuff.
Sure.
Like, he's getting married. Congratulations to them. It's fantastic. I'm sure they'll have a great off season, and away they go. But Oilers fans will tell you that I would say 99% of them care more about what's going to happen on the ice than the.
Let me just make one final point about why they're all wrong, all 99%. What you want is Connor McDavid to be happy. Am I right? You want Connor to like it in Edmonton. You want him to want to be here for the remainder of his life. That's goal number one, right?
Well, not my goal number
Mine
one.
is.
I got other things in life that are
for
a bit
me,
more important than
personally,
that. Yes.
Oilers fans. And then Leon's happiness is very critical too. The fact that they're at each other's weddings and this level of happy is the best news for us Oilers fans. Lots of teams of stars rift.
Yeah, some do. Yeah.
We're very fortunate that these guys get along as well as they do.
Yeah, well, I've always said I'm all the worrying from people that McDavid's not signing a contract. I've been saying it for almost 2 years. Connor McDavid's going nowhere.
He's riding in a golf cart in the south of France with his best buddy on the team and their wives. This is a great situation.
Oh, I don't discount it for Oilers fans, but it's not a surprise to me. I don't think I have to repeat it all the time that, hey, Connor McDavid's staying in Edmonton. I really think Oilers fans need to be a little bit more confident. Right? Most Oilers fans weren't even alive. The diehards weren't even alive when Gretzky and them were leaving. So you can't use that as an excuse. Oh, well, and Chris Pronger's one guy. But name any big stars that left since then that weren't traded? They're all traded. No one left by their own accord.
Not like Chris Pronger left.
Well, he was the only one. That's my point. And he's allowed to leave. Hey, you know what? He chose his family over the team, as any normal person should.
Well, we're live on the radio, so I won't argue.
Yeah, well, but it's true, though. Well, you can't put fanhood ahead of a family. You just can't, right? Even for a hot take that tries to be cool, it's not cool. Sorry. You can't do it. You can't tell anybody, oh, you know what? Me being a fan of a team, that's more important than the guy and his family. It's just not.
If you told me I had to load the pride of my life, my 4-year-old son, into a little tiny hot air balloon and push him into the sky and the Oilers win the cup next year, I'd do it in the morning. I would pick the Oilers over my son because I'm a real fan, Gregor.
Oh, well, you're missing a word in there. Real blank fan.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I do have this text. Hey, Gregor, did you happen to read that article about youth hockey in Dallas with the Stars exerting maybe too much influence? Yeah, it was a very fascinating read in USA Today. And when you read this story in the U.S., because there's not a lot of hockey rinks, right? So in a place like Dallas, that are trying to grow, and you have the Stars where there's tons of people on the board of this, and they're all working for the Stars. It's not a good look. No one likes a bully at the end of the day, right? And it doesn't matter. And especially when the bully's in a position of power automatically, right? No one likes a bully. So I tweeted out the article. I'd recommend people reading it. It is, it's rather head scratching to me when you read it. Right now, there is some comments, from all sides, which I like. It's a well-researched article, but, hockey. And I do think, and this is me talking about even in Canada, that some would argue we've already passed the side where hockey has become, even at the youth level, more of a business. And I think it's a valid conversation to have that you have some people that have lost, I think, their way. Now, you know what? There's always going to be somebody that complains, right? There's somebody out there listening right now. You know what? I didn't make the NHL because my coach didn't like me, or I didn't make this team. And I'm always kind of like, really? Now I don't discount that you probably thought you should have made said team, whether it was back then, Pee-wee, Bantam, midget, whatever it was, and you didn't make it for a variety of reasons, right? And maybe you should have made the team. But that's one statement. If you claim that's why you're not in the NHL, it's a falsehood that you've said to yourself, because here's the truth. If you got cut from a AAA team and then you went and played on a AA team, and if you were that good, then you should have been in the AAA team. Then you should have dominated the AA team. And your confidence would have grown. You would have had the puck way more. You would have improved your skills. And somebody would have seen you. And then the next year you would have made it at the high level. right? You know, unless, you know, if you quit because you didn't make a team, then the onus is on you. But, you know, hey, because first of all, scouting now is even more in depth than it ever has been. But anybody who is good enough, people used to they would play in small towns up until they're 16, 17, and then they got discovered. But it's hard. Like, it's probably one of my biggest pet peeves. Anytime I hear anybody say they could have made it if this didn't happen. Now, if it's an injury, maybe. Because injury is one of the number one things that derails an athlete's career in lots of different sports. It's true, right? Luckily, today, our advancements in science and rehabilitation and stuff like that allows athletes to come back from serious injuries that they never used to before. So that's great. But, and sometimes you can't. But I don't know. I don't have a lot of time, sorry, for anybody who tells you they could have made it. But Bob, when they were 16, didn't pick him on the team, and that caused them to completely derail their career. I'm sorry, but I just don't buy.
If minor hockey's turning into a business, as it seems to be, we're dooming the sport because we're only allowing rich, good players to succeed.
Well, hockey, the challenge for hockey here is arenas are expensive. And so until someone can invent a way, and here's the thing. So people want to lower the cost, but not the comfortability. They don't want to go back. Well, because I've always said this, let's just build a bunch of shells.
Yeah.
Right? We can get more ice. Just have shells. You know what? And hey, might have to wear your winter boots to watch it sometimes when you got to wear a winter coat. That's fine. Or let's have more outdoor rinks and you practice out. Kids used to play games outdoors all the time. So the truth is, you know, every arena that a community builds now, a lot of times, well, it's got to be a multiplex and it's got to have everything. And those obviously cost a lot of money. So until we get more arenas and more ice services, I don't see how you can lower the cost. I just don't. If somebody out there can tell me, it'd be wonderful. But I don't see how you can lower the cost because of the infrastructure.
Well, European countries subsidize sports, right? If you're in Sweden and you're a minor hockey player of note, you're not paying tens of thousands of dollars to play minor hockey in Sweden. You're paying no dollars in many instances. Sometimes if you're on a traveling team, but they go out of their way to make it not rich, good hockey players can succeed. It's anyone who's good, regardless.
But now we're talking a whole different, how do you how you run your whole country.
Well, socialism,
right? Like, a little bit more socialism
as it applies to sports.
Yes.
Right. Like, why is the Canadian national goalie program in the state it's in? Is it because kids don't want to play goal anymore? Because goalie pads cost $3,000.
Well, I think, if you talk to guys like Sean Burke, they'll tell you the mistake we're making in Canada is we try to have full-time goalies too young in age. He believes that nobody should be a full-time goalie till they're at least 13. This is from Sean Burke, not me, who knows infinitely more about the position. I asked him, he says, well, for a few reasons. Sometimes you don't know who's a good goalie because there are some kids like somebody out there, the son or their daughter, plays forward, but when they play street hockey or mini sticks, they want to be goalie all the time. They love it. Right now, it's totally different, right? And some like to play mini stick goalie, but they don't want to play goalie on the ice because they don't like it because it is different. You know, you kind of stand still more. You're not moving around, right? It's just a different position. So, but if we make it so there's only one or two kids on the team from the age of 9 who play goal, well, all of a sudden the odds are they're not all going to be good. They're not all going to have great potential just because you play the game. So you're shortening your pool of it. And then there's been some others that have said, I know Kevin Woodley's talked about on our show that he feels in some of the approach to goaltending in Canada right now is on a little bit of a downturn, but it's also cyclical. Like you look at the 90s and you had Patrick Waugh, you had Marty Brodeur, and you had Curtis Joseph, and you had lots of Eddie Belfour. You had lots of the best goalies were Canadian. Now there's Dominic Hasek for sure.
But Dominic Hasek wasn't paying for goalie equipment in the Czech Republic as a kid. The government paid for it, right? If it'd been up to his parents to afford goaltending equipment in the Iron Curtain country.
When I was a kid growing up, the team supplied the goalie equipment.
This is where it's changed, right? It's on the means of the parents.
Well, no, for some, right? Some kids like to have it, right? They prefer it. But to me, if your association can't afford a pair of goalie pads, you probably got a problem here with your association. That's what I would say. right? Like I know at the young age, they supplied it for our kids. Now they'll still look at it. Like I coach a U13 and they have pads. They have the pads in the section, but a lot of the parents, because their kids are full-time goalies, they prefer to purchase their own. You're not forced to. They still have the option. It's not like you can't go to your mind. Now, that's only in St. Albert. I can't talk about every minor association around, but I don't know a minor association that wouldn't provide pads.
But with the cost
at a younger age,
with the cost of hockey on the trajectory it's on, it's only a subset of kids can afford to play. And if you're competing with countries that subsidize the sport so all the kids of talent can play, in the long run, they'll win.
Potentially.
They have a bigger pool of athletes.
But are you certain that all of these European countries are doing that? I don't think Germany's doing that.
I don't know about Germany specifically.
Right.
I mean, Leon just made the donation to his former club.
Yeah, like
so,
but 29, like it's a great now because that's his number, and it's 29 pairs of great, but
yeah, but
it's 29 in a country of 85 million.
I do think in Nordic countries in Europe, there's an effort to make sports as close to zero cost to the kids as possible.
But like I say, put your kid in soccer at a high level, put your kid in dance at a high level. Name a sport that isn't expensive nowadays.
But this is the point. So you're not going to have the quality of athletes going forward because it's only a subset of kids going to afford to play rep volleyball now. Whereas before, you just showed up to high school and you could like walk onto a team.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're limiting better athletes, because how do you know they're any good? How do you know they're passionate about that sport? So I don't know if that's necessarily true. Like the cost of everything in life has gone up now, right? Compared to what it was. And so I always say to people, if you don't like the cost, okay, great. But how do you fix it? It's easy to say it's too expensive. I understand that. But like I've said, how are you going to lower the cost of hockey when the facility isn't never changed? Hockey's always been expensive because it was expensive to run, right? We just had fewer people. Now you have way more people, right? Like look at the numbers in population in Canada in the last 10 years comparatively, right? We haven't seen that many more soccer pitches built. We haven't seen that many more hockey rinks built. We haven't seen that many more school gymnasiums built. So, there's always going to be a challenge for somebody to do it. But I don't know if I buy that there's all these unbelievable athletes that have never had a chance. I think it's a nice story. I'm just not sure it's true.
Well, in Anaheim, I know the Ducks own a lot of the arenas.
Yeah.
And they subsidize the cost of hockey to bring new players in.
Sure.
And the Sharks do the same.
Oh, yeah.
So there are models like that. You don't see that here. You don't see that in Calgary. You don't see like minor hockey being.
Well, probably because they don't like they're trying to get more kids to play, right? That's a reason. Like here, even if you had more kids playing, there's no facilities for them to play.
Well, it's a different problem. But
Yes.
the idea of subsidizing the cost down so that other kids can play, just statistically speaking, there's a larger group of people. So there's more good athletes. I don't agree with the thought.
Well, there might, but just because there's more good athletes doesn't mean there's more good hockey players. Not every good athlete's a good hockey player. I know lots of good athletes that are good in basketball but aren't good in hockey, and vice versa. Right? Like I don't buy. I think there used to be a belief that all the best athletes played hockey. I don't believe that's true anymore. I think there was lots of great athletes who play other sports. And just look at Canada. Look at where we are in basketball. We never had we had an MVP once, but you look at what Shea Gillis-Allen's doing. Look at the men's program. Look at the women's program. Look at Summer McIntosh and swimming right now. We could look at their soccer programs. Like we're diversifying our elite athletes in more areas. And still, even in hockey, Canada's still at the top, right? And it'll be a while before eventually someone's going to catch you. Like the U.S. has 10 times as many people. So based on your theory, well, the U.S. should eventually beat Canada because they have 10 times as many people.
Well, the amount of people playing hockey in the States is growing really strong too.
Yeah.
But Canada's shrinking.
Well, no, that's not true. It went back up this year.
Did it?
Yes. Yeah.
You get the fresh data?
No.
I believe you.
Canada came out with that. So, and it'll fluctuate. It'll go up and down. Right now, it's obviously growing because there's infinitely more girls playing now than ever before, which is great, right? You see the PWHL is expanding, which is fantastic. I think at the end of the day, that to me, the article was when you have a pro team trying to control too much of it, that's the problem.
So what did the article say? I didn't read it.
Well, it just talked about how, well, here, I'll start with it at the top. So there was in Lisa Bry was her name, and she is the president of the Frisco Ice Hockey Association. It's the nonprofit hockey club for middle and high school students in Frisco. One of their first actions under her leadership was to cancel the contracts of 2 coaches who had received dismissal reviews from parent feedback surveys. So they had lots of parents saying, you know what, I don't want to do it. They had a meeting with an executive from the Stars, whose name in the article is Keitha Andresen. And her words, he said, let me remind you where you get your ice from. Now, he denied saying those words because obviously it doesn't necessarily look good. And then the article goes on to explain, that they kind of have a monopoly on the minor hockey. So now it's very different there than it is here because, as you said, there's really the only, like the Oilers have the 50-50 and they donate some money back to different charities and stuff like that. And, they help out. They now have, I think, the 2, is it 2 or 4 junior teams, right? That have the Oilers name on it. But mine, I don't feel like the Oilers are picking those teams, right? So, but that's really, the length of their involvement. Like they have nothing to do with Beaumont minor hockey or Leduc minor hockey or St. Albert minor hockey or Sherwood Park minor hockey, right? Or Mill Woods or Southside. So it's very different in Edmonton to Dallas.
Soccer in really poor countries assigned a value to the players in minor soccer when they were younger. So it was like behooving to clubs to have a team of 12-year-olds that didn't pay to play, because if 2 of them were good and they played the next level, they would get money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they solved the issue of no one could afford to play competitive soccer, was they put a value to them.
But you still do stories in Brazil about kids who just play with a tape ball for years because they couldn't afford anything else. They couldn't even afford soccer balls.
They will join a club though eventually for free that will give them their first kit, and away they go.
Some of them, yeah, but lots of
if
them,
they're good,
yeah,
because they hold open tryouts.
Yeah, but again, like I think hockey has proven a late developing sport. This is my opinion. This is a fact by science. It's a late developing sport, and I think we, as evaluators in hockey, get way too hung up on who's on the AAA team at 9, and you're making super teams at 9, and now they play together all the time up until 15, and then all of a sudden, little Bobby and little Tommy aren't on the same team, and they haven't played apart in 7 or 8 years. They don't know what to do, right? Like it's not. I don't necessarily think that's the best. You're putting, a high level when you have a late developing sport, and there's lots of examples. I can go through tons of examples, and I've always said it. The most players in the NHL, first rounders, second most, second rounders, third most, undrafted. So even at that level, it's still late developing. So, and these are people that are paid, they're experienced, they watch, they got all these analytics, and they still have a lot of guys that slip through the cracks. So if it's happening at 17, 18, and 19 when you draft them, you don't think it's happening at 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yet we're like, oh, this kid played AA this year, and he's got to play AA, and we're going to give the AA kids 2 or 3 times more ice time. So you just naturally separate the gap. That to me is a bigger issue. If we're talking about lowering or shortening your pool, it's from even the ones who play, it's shortening the pool. Right? And it's a great conversation to have because there is no easy solution. That's just the truth, because the cost is the cost. And I've talked to parents. We've had a lot of texts coming in here right now. Gregor, I hear everybody says hockey's expensive. I have 5 kids. They've all played different sports. I found hockey to be not much more expensive. I will say this, dance for my 2 daughters, easily the most expensive. From Mike. Oh yeah, you talk to some people like, different outfits all the time. And so there's always different costs. Hockey is the sport that people are most passionate about. And so hockey a lot of the times takes all the bullets that's wrong and they act like oh, it's only hockey parents that are lunatics. I'm like, that's not true. I've been to other sports, and guess what? There's a lunatic in your hockey rink. There's a lunatic in your basketball court. There's a lunatic at the dance recital. There's a lunatic, at rugby. If people want to be lunatic, they're going to be there, right? It's just how it is. Could there be more? We can have a discussion on that for sure. But to suggest that they're only there, it's not proven. You see videos now online of crazy sports parents, right? And it's just, it's unfortunate. People get way too emotionally caught up in their child's athletics. We should do a whole psychoanalysis of why that is. Like, why do you get so wrapped up in it? And I've seen it. People screaming, swearing at 12, 13-year-old referees. Like, think about that for a second. Everybody's calm now. You're driving home. You're sitting in the office. But think about it. And some of you are the ones who've actually yelled at an official. If you're honest, some of you listening right now are the ones who've yelled at official. You're probably, geez, wow, but he made a bad call. No, that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant, right? Bad calls are going to be made. They're always going to be made, just like bad decisions in sports are going to be made. That's just how it goes. But to yell at kids, and it's why there's a shortage of officials. Because, and I've always, my solution, every kid who plays hockey, once you reach a certain age, has to ref 3 games. Everybody's got to take it. Everybody's got to ref. And then every parent gets to go sit in the crowd. And guess what? When their little Sally or Sonny is officiating and old Bob starts yelling at him, all of a sudden they're going to be like, hey, what are you doing? And they'll realize, oh, geez, maybe I shouldn't yell at referees. It's a very simple thing, but it's probably never happened. So
when I was like 13 years old, I was a minor soccer referee here in town, Gregor. Community league, high level stuff. And I remember the team was down 5-0 and they were like 8. I'm about 12. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get this home team back in it. And I just started awarding free kicks, penalty shots, phantom handballs, the whole thing. And this parent ran out of the field and said to me, I've never seen worse officiating in my life. And in that moment, I knew he was right. Because I was just trying to get the other team back in the game. So you don't want every little kid to be the ref. Because I really didn't care.
But even then, sure, like you can admit it that you're honest. But even then, it's like, really, at the end of the day, like kids lose a game. 5 minutes after the game, it's over. The parents, adults are the ones who hold on to it way longer. I've seen it. I've seen the kids. They lose the game. They get upset for a few minutes and then, hey, right? They're done because it's just a game. Quick break. We'll return to Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Some people wake up and get dressed for work in a suit and tie or a nice dress. At GS Construction, we're less fashion forward and more putting our best foot forward. We wear hard hats and steel-toe boots, and most importantly, we wear 50 years of experience with pride. It's not glamorous, it's definitely not easy, but it matters. We do it well. So if you'd like to be part of something where your work matters, GS Construction is hiring. Just remember, when you come for an interview, ditch the tie. See more at gsconstruction.ca.
It's the Bricks Great Canadian Staycation Sale. This long weekend, score hot summer savings like up to 25% off outdoor furniture and free local delivery on outdoor furniture purchases of $4.99 or more. Mattresses start at just $149 and queen-size beds start at just $299. Save up to $1,000 off genuine leather sofas and sectionals. Plus, save the tax when you buy 2 or more major kitchen appliances. The Brick, saving you more.
Edmonton Elks Salute to Service, presented by James H. Brown & Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. August 2nd, 1300 hours. EE battles the Ticats. Pitch the Royal Canadian Air Force pregame flyover, the Salute to Service flag football tournament, and more. Tickets start at just $20 at goelks.com.
McDonald's summer drink days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's Summer Drink Days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on the Ford you want. Visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca today.
Come experience Edmonton Stingers Pro Basketball. Friday, August 1st. It's the most affordable, family-friendly, fun sports experience in the city. Tickets start at just $20. thestingers.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? By Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
429, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Wanya Gretz with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having an awesome day as it's time to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings. You're thinking about it. Look at it. It's so nice out. All the sun right now. You could just be saving money if you got solar. Get it on your home or your commercial building at actionelectrical.net. The Elks in action tomorrow afternoon, a 1 o'clock start. Hey, hands up. I love the 1 o'clock starts. Big fan of it. I don't know if it's better or worse for the players. I talked to a few of the players. They seem to like it, but who knows? I guess everybody's a little bit different. Most of them just say, hey, get up and you get to play sooner. So even as grown men, they're still they're little kids at heart. You're like, get to the game, boys and girls. Let's go. And we'll talk about that from Elks Nation, as well as co-host of the Carey Show, Eddie Steele, joins us. And Eddie, you look at the Elks, and let's start. Hey, you play defense. So I wanted to start at the defense and the fact that they seem to finally make a philosophical change in their approach to their defense, specifically their corners and their secondary, not playing so far off the ball against Saskatchewan. And it seemed to lead to a lot more success. They gave up the fewest points all year.
Yeah, Jason, I would agree that the philosophy change-up that you just alluded to, you really did notice it. And you noticed in the fact that the coverage was tighter, the tackling was much sharper, and they held the team to under 34 points and under 300 yards passing, which is something they hadn't done all year.
Why do you think it took so long?
Oh, that's a good question. As cliche as it sounds, there is some truth to the new coaching staff. There's a lot of newness going on right now, new players. They signed entirely new defensive line, pretty much brought over the entire defensive line from the Argonauts. Now, that's not an excuse. You got to still go out there and perform week in, week out from the drop of the ball once week one hits, and they clearly didn't do that on defense. But it does take time to learn each other, to get the groove, the flow. A lot of newcomers, too, just feeling out the game. And in the secondary, we had Aaron Grimes on this morning on the Kevin Carey Show, and he just mentioned the fact, and I kind of forgot about this myself, Jason, the secondary is like offensive linemen, and you can't just plug and play. You really need to play with each other week in and week out to get that feel, to know and to trust where a guy is going to be, which allows you to play much faster and much more efficiently. And they really hadn't had that cohesion throughout the first 6 weeks of the year.
Yeah, that's fair to a point, but I just felt like they were way too passive, though. I don't care what, I'll disagree with Grimes. Like, yeah, continuity is something, but they were just, and you talked about it, like, watch how many, if you're playing 15 yards off the ball, no wonder you can't get any interceptions. You're not close enough to the ball.
Well, Jason, if we want to just really get blunt, and I gave you the politically roundabout, man, they were too passive and their tackling sucked. That's why their defense sucked in the first 6 weeks.
Yes.
Their tackling was brutal. They were scared to tackle. You could tell there was DBs that wanted no part in the physicality, and you just can't get away with that in pro football. And nobody's making plays, and actually had some really good conversations with some former teammates of mine that played alongside me. And lots of fingers need to be pointed at this defensive line. It begins and ends on the defensive line. And I was corrected in, some of my philosophy that I had forgotten about from the past. The defensive line sets the tone. And, for the defensive line that they have, that is almost $1 million invested into a defensive line. When you have a salary cap of $6 million, these guys got to step up and make plays. They got to pressure the quarterback. And the sack numbers alone show that they are flat out not getting it done up front.
Eddie Steele joined us. Bo Levi Mitchell, it's funny. Last year, he lost his starting job. And in the first game that he was benched, the backup got hurt. He comes back in, plays great, and then went all the way on to be the East nominee for MLP, and he probably could have won it. Now you look at this season, they had a little bit of a slow start. They're 5-0 in their last 5 games. He's thrown the ball all over the field. He's got way more completions than anybody else. And he's only got, he's thrown the ball more than anybody. He's only got 3 interceptions. Against an Elks defense who doesn't have really any interceptions from their secondary guys. If you look at it from a defensive side, how can they get Bo Levi Mitchell off his game?
Well, again, I just harped on it. It begins up front. Bo Levi, going back to when I played against him, if you can pressure him, much like any quarterback, Captain Obvious, if you can pressure them and get in their face, you're going to make them uncomfortable. Bo Levi, when he can sit back there and pick and choose where he wants to throw the ball and do so on time to his receivers, he's going to have a field day and throw that football all over the yard. You have to get him off of his spot. And what I mean by that is don't let him just stand back there behind the center or the two guards right in the pocket. Make him move. Make him have to be somewhat of an athlete, because we know Bo Levi Mitchell ain't no Trey Ford. So you want to make him uncomfortable back there. And if you can make him uncomfortable, he's going to start to see things. But it all begins and ends with getting that pressure up front. Football, we can talk about all the exoticness about it and get in depth and whatnot. Man, when you tear it all down, Jason, you got to win the line of scrimmage. You got to dominate the guy across from you, be it the offensive or defensive lineman, and you got to get after the quarterback. And that's how you have success.
Eddie Steele joins us. Offensively, I think it's Captain Obvious. They got to run the ball. Like, it was when you can only have 5 yards in 5 carries from your 2 running backs, you're not winning it. Like, the fact that they stayed in the game to me is a miracle, especially because I counted 20 times they were in second down. 15 of them were 2nd and 7 or more. Like, they were in second and long 75% of the time, which means their first down production was terrible, other than the one drive where they had 3 consecutive first downs. I look at them, and when you see that they haven't been able to run the ball as much, is that just on the O-line, or is there something about the play calling in when they're running that isn't working?
I'm going to say this first and foremost, that is on the play calling. You mentioned the last game, 5 attempts. The game before, 5 attempts between Leak and Rankin as well. In the past 2 football games, 2 whole games, they've attempted 10 rushing plays. You're never going to have success with that. And you know what? When you hear stats like that, no duh, you just gave up 8 sacks against Saskatchewan, because no offensive lineman wants to only run the ball 5 times a game. They're not built to run that. And you're never going to have success on offense because you're not establishing any physicality. Now, you can't abandon the run, even if you're not having early success right away. As a defensive player, I'll tell you what, I would love it if the offensive team that I was going against abandoned the run that quick, because all I got to worry about is pinning my ears back and setting these offensive linemen up for pass rush moves. You take the O-lineman completely out of the game when you stop running the ball so early. You have to at least test the waters. And what's so strange is, with all the change around the organization, the one common factor that stayed was Coach Soros, the offensive line coach, and he stayed because he had such success with this unit last year. They were the best pass blocking team in terms of giving up sacks, if not top 3, I believe, if not the best. And they were the best running unit last year by a large margin. So it's confusing why they've just abandoned the run all of a sudden the past 2 games.
Yeah, well, trailing from behind probably doesn't, or just trailing doesn't help the cause that much. Cody Fajardo, I love his honesty. We had him on the show on Monday, and right after the game, he said, "Hey, some of those sacks are on me," and I think that's nice, and he's protecting his quarterback. But man, Brett Boyko had one of the worst games I've seen from a right tackle in quite some time in Saskatchewan. He's got to be better tomorrow.
Oh, brother Jason, that's a tough week, man. That's a week where you can't wait to get to the next game fast enough, because all you're doing is watching game film of yourself getting beat. And it's embarrassing, flat out. Like, when you're seeing yourself give up the booty the way he did, man, you never want to be like that on film. And the reality is, look, every football player is going to have a bad game. You're going to get got. It's all a matter of limiting how often you get got, and you want to be getting guys more than you get got. This is a big week for Boyko now, because this is a test of his manhood, so to speak, because when you put out a performance like that, you can't be putting out a game back-to-back like that on tape with that type of production. You need to show up, and all honesty, I think that he's going to be up to the test. Hamilton has a really good defense, but I really think that it's going to be a supreme test to see what Brett Boyko truly, and not just Brett Boyko, keeping it real, it's the guard as well. Gregor, what's his name? I'm having a brain fart, but Gregor McKellar. Sorry.
Yeah, the right guard.
Yeah, it's both of those guys. This is a huge week for them to bounce back, and that's the beautiful thing with football is you get to do that.
Well, the Elks, there's been times in games where they've looked like, hey, they're very competitive. And then it's just, they make some mistakes and it hurts them. What do you make about the changes in the linebacking core? Obviously, Nick Anderson is out. What's your expectations for DeBlanco?
I'm really high on Joel DeBlanco. He just looks like a baller. When you see him out there running around, standing even just next to other guys, you can tell some guys just got that it factor. He's really good size. And the limited plays in action that he did see in games, he flies around. So I'm really optimistic. First overall pick, there's a lot of pedigree behind him. And football is a game of opportunities. Unfortunately, oftentimes it comes at the expense of someone in front of you due to an injury like we're seeing right now. But with that being said, it's a chance to show coaches your game, put out some good tape, and it's his time to shine. And I really think DeBlanco is going to have a good week. I'm really high on the player, to be honest, Jason.
All right. What do you think he does best?
Well, he's an athlete. That's the difference maker. These guys are all supreme athletes, but Nick Anderson, he's a stout, thicker guy. You're not going to run much in the box on Nick Anderson. He's really good within the hash marks, Nick Anderson is, in making those plays. Where DeBlanco, in the CFL game where it's wide open spread passing game, he can hit some drops, I think, a little bit deeper, probably run a little bit better in some open space than Nick Anderson, just solely how his body type is. So I'm excited to see how he is in space in just the athleticism that he brings to a CFL game.
Eddie, great stuff, my man. Have yourself an awesome weekend, and we'll be watching and listening for the breakdown with you and Declan and Elks Nation after the game on Saturday. Have a good one.
All right, Jason. Appreciate it, fellas. Have a good one.
There you go. That's Eddie Steele from Elks Nation. Check it out. The website's getting close. Elks Nation will be ready in September. For those who like to read, they got the pod with Declan and Eddie. You can get it anywhere where you get your podcast, and got tons of social media as well. Take a quick break. We'll come back. 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Reports suggest the Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
On the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
What's better than a family reunion? Getting the family discount. At Nisku Ford, you're not just a customer, you're part of the family. And we believe our family deserves the very best.
That's why our legendary employee pricing is back. This August, get the Ford you want at the price you deserve with exclusive deals reserved for our closest kin. It's our way of saying, welcome home.
The coffee's on. Drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. above expectations.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a fantastic Friday, getting set. Ooh, maybe you're just looking at the clock, counting down the minutes. It's like Fred Flintstone. I know some of you probably don't even watch Flintstones. Remember when the old siren would go off? That was a terrible, I can't even do it, but you know what it sounded like? God, I wish I had that. I never worked at a place that had that. That'd have been unbelievable. Just all of a sudden, you just hear the siren go off. Yeah. Work's over. Unbelievable.
Like a mill?
Yes. Oh, be great. Would love that.
Do you actually want to work in prehistoric bedrock, or is this anytime?
Anytime right now. Just have it.
Whistle time.
Does anybody have a whistle that goes off at their work at 5 o'clock right now today? If not, you should be the first to instill and just watch the enjoyment of your workers.
Didn't unions work for like 70 years to prevent whistles at work?
Well, why? The union doesn't.
Wouldn't it be considered mean that you like blow a whistle and everybody had to run away?
Well, you don't have to run away. It's just symbolizing, because if the whistle blows, now we're on overtime. Wouldn't the union be all for that?
You know what blew my mind, similar to a whistle blowing? When I realized that recess was for the teachers, not the kids. I was about grade 3, grade 4. I'm like, oh, wait. They need a break from us.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, man, teachers. I got so much respect for them. Like that. I would say, like, you know, most of us couldn't play sports because we're not talented enough. But most of us wouldn't want to do the teacher job. Like, there's a difference, right? Like, you'd want to be a pro athlete, but for most people, not all, but most, that'd be great. There's not a lot of people lining up to be a teacher. It is a hard job. So kudos to all the teachers. As you, I know people like, oh yeah, they get 2 months off. Yeah, because they got to recoup. Like, I'm telling you, most of us would be like 3 days in the classroom, 2 days. I'm out. Right? Nope. No, thank you. So
another thing I didn't know about teachers till I got older was how crazy teachers convention gets. If you go to a downtown bar,
they gotta let off some steam. Man.
It is wild. I'm like, why is it so busy in the Pine? They're like, you don't even know what's going on. It's teachers convention. And since that day, every teachers convention, they go crazy, Gregor. It's like Mardi Gras.
Well, why wouldn't it? You're finally getting a break. I get it. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Their biggest clearance event is at the Brick Outlet on St. Albert Trail. Stop searching, start saving. 4 days only going on through this weekend, clearing out their warehouse, blowing out $1,000 worth of inventory. Check it out at the Brick Clearance Event Outlet on St. Albert Trail.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1. The Elks coming into this game against the Tiger Cats as a 3.5-point underdog to PlayAlberta.ca. What's your prediction for the game down at Commonwealth?
Beautiful day down at Commonwealth, Saturday, 1 p.m. I'll take the Elks 2010 over the Ticats.
One need at 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. In the sun.
God. Well, sadly, I've been correct in not picking the Elks to win lately. So, Ottawa just beat Calgary, though. So, and the Elks are only 3.5-point underdogs.
It's a coin toss.
Wow. I'd be taking the Elks because, but maybe they'll lose a tight one. So, I actually think the Elks are going to find a way to win. Cody Fajardo's 6-1 all time against Hamilton. So I'm going to say the upset. This is upset week in the CFL. Ottawa already did it. The Elks are going to find a way to shock Hamilton. They've won 5 in a row. They've had a long road trip. So I'll say upset city for the Elks. And it'll be 27-23.
Question number 2. We've got FIBA 3x3 this weekend down at the Ice Palace. If you were making a dream team for 3x3 with current basketball players, who's on your squad?
Well, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for sure. Steph Curry, because he can shoot the lights out. And yeah, I think I'm going to go Wemby.
Ooh.
Oof, just good. Man, he's
an alien.
Yeah. I wanted to pick some other guys, but I'm going to go with Wemby. I think the guy can block so many shots. And although, in that game, it'd be ridiculous. So.
Watching him play basketball is like nothing I've ever seen. He did a dunk last year where he barely jumped.
I know.
And that's the most viewed clip in NBA history. Because everybody who watched it's like, I've been watching basketball my entire life. I've never seen anything like this before. Good choice on Wemby. I'm going to go a different way, Connor. I'm going to go all James boys. LeBron, Bronny, who's now lighting it up in the G League. You can look that up, Gregor. Bronny James has caught fire. And little Bryce, the one with the glasses. He can play with his dad and brother. They'll win FIBA 3-on-3.
Yeah, I mean, they might. Question number 3 for you. Micah Parsons officially requesting a trade out of the Dallas Cowboys organization. Which team do you think would be the best fit for him?
Selfishly, I'd like him to go to Detroit. I am a Lions fan on some level.
Oh, what happened last night?
What?
To the Lions.
What do you mean?
Oh,
cares? Hall of Fame game?
Bloodbath.
Give me a break.
Bolt up.
It's not even real. That'd be where I'd like to see him go.
How about you, Gregor?
Oh man. There's just drama in Dallas all the time, and this is not the first time. So I think he's going to stay in Dallas. But I guess if I had to see him leave, where would I like him to go? That's a really good question. Cincinnati. Their defense is junk. They could really use him.
But would they pay him? Question number 4 for you both. It is the first day of August.
Maybe they trade him for Hendrickson.
That could be, hey. But then with the Cowboys pay Hendrickson, he's older.
Wow.
First day of August. What is your favorite part about this fine month?
Annual golf trip with the fellas. No question asked.
Celebrity wedding season. So like last summer, Connor and LK won. Highlight of the year, obviously.
But it was a July wedding.
Was it?
Yeah.
I respect that you remember that.
Well, I only remember because he posted the other day about that it was a year anniversary. I don't know what
it's
day
pretty
it was.
close to now.
Yeah, but it wasn't August.
Fair enough. I have written down here Prince William and Kate. I know what that means. You probably, Connor, don't. British Royal wedding was a big day for me. I went to the Lil Wayne concert and then stayed up late to watch Prince William get married to Kate. And then this season, the Draisaitl wedding. I mean, this is no joke.
You actually do watch celebrity weddings, eh?
I do enjoy celebrity weddings.
Wow.
Royal weddings is a whole different stratosphere. I even watched.
But you're
Meghan.
scared to get married yourself, yet you'll watch other people get
Gregor,
married.
I've been to so many weddings at this point on TV. Why would I need to get married? What with all these celebrity weddings every 15 minutes? I'm busy.
It's true. Final question for you boys today. It is International Beer Day. So when it comes to the cold ones, what's your top 3?
Well, I got to go Nation beer or I'll be fired. Bud Light, number 2. And I like a good like Pabst Blue Ribbon. Those are pretty good. PBR and a tall boy.
Chimay Red, number 1. Like
what?
Yeah, like real beers.
What?
Chimay Red for sure.
Red.
Yeah, Chimay Red. That's the beer.
Are you from Belgium? Where is it? Where are you purchasing this? The past?
Right, and now you get it at Sherbrooke Liquor, buddy. It's unreal. You've never had Chimay Red? But
No.
Stretty, I brought it to a party, and he was like you, he wanted like a Bud Light.
Yeah.
I got him a Chimay Red. And he's like, begrudgingly admitted this is
Is it like a Rickards Red?
No, Chimay Red.
Chimay?
Yeah.
Is that a name or a?
Yes. Chimay.
Huh.
Yeah. So that would be my number one beer for sure. Other beers that I enjoy, I actually don't mind Rickards Red. So
How did you find out about Chimay Red?
I was in the store once and I was just talking to the guy. I know what I liked. And he said, you got to try this. You'll love it. And I tried it. I loved it.
All right.
So, and, what would be my other favorite? You know what? Well, I'm going to go, and I know it's not that good, but for years, Coronas with the lemon, summertime, we used to play, have buddies over at our house and we played for years. Guys would just show up with a 2-4 of that. It was unbelievable. So just for memories, it's going to get number 3, not on taste, just on memories. Cons?
Man, you know what? Symbol for a hot day, Bud Light Lime. Question number 2, I'm going to say, I always like the Kona Big Wave from Maui out there. I believe that's where it's brewed. That's where I'd get when I'm on vacation. And then when I'd go to those fancy beer places that have like 1,000 beers and they shun you if you get a Bud Light or a Coors Light, Hoegaarden in the huge mug. Those will be my top 3.
All right.
The Big Stein is a nice touch.
It's massive.
Have you ever been to like an Oktoberfest where they bring out the real giant Oktoberfest Steins?
I like the Edmonton version, but not the one at the Ice District. I went to a smaller one. I believe like the German cultural.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to one of
Legit.
those. Yeah, it was cool. I bought one actually.
You ever drink out of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I got to get to this text because this is a great idea. And I think we're going to implement it. Hey, Gregor, get the Flintstones whistle to end your show every Friday. You have the power, Morris.
Oh, wow.
Morris, I am so into that idea. We're going to have that. Today might be a little late. We'll see. But we're going to start implementing that. That is unbelievable. Also, JC text in. Guys, we have a buzzer that goes off when work ends. Wow. Where do you work out, buddy? That's what I want to know. Where do you work? It's fantastic.
Gregor, I was ahead of that text.
Boom. There you go, man. Who is it? Like that with the yabba dabba do? Come on. You're not like, I'm going home. This is unreal.
You're going to end every Friday.
Oh, yeah. We should end maybe every day in the show. Why not? I think that's a new thing. I love it because it puts you in a good mood. If imagine you're at work, because sometimes you might lose track of time and all of a sudden the siren goes off. Even if you have to work an extra 30 seconds, it's just like, yeah, day's over, baby.
But now office jobs end at 5. So you're going to do the whistle for the listeners, or is it going to be 6 o'clock?
It's where you work. We were talking about what your job is, where you work.
Yep.
Right.
This is good.
So, yeah. There's other people out there that'll get off at 6, maybe. So there you go. I like it.
How did you decide to do Brass Bonanza?
Well, Positive Friday came about during the Decade of Darkness, probably 3 years in, and it was just because I'm a positive guy. Like I'm much more of a glass half full than glass half empty guy. I always have been, and because it was just endless. The order sucked. This guy sucks, and it was truthful. But it was just draining. So I came up with Positive Friday. And for the most part, so when it first started, it was like, hey, we're just going to talk about it. You find a positive in a player. Now, of course, people would try to text in and find like a way around. Hey, I'm positive that he sucks. Yeah, okay. Like, whatever. But so eventually we had it. And then the Brass Bonanza, Hartford was my favorite team as a kid. And I liked the song. So we just played it. And it's upbeat, man. Like I had school teachers tell me that they had some school teachers that would implement it at school on Friday and their kids loved it because it's an upbeat song.
Before we pitched you on joining Oilers Nation in 2008, I ran it past my brother-in-law, Japa Man, and he, good Japa Man. He said, oh, Gregor, eh? Yeah. I don't know why. He said, because he played the Brass Bonanza, the whole cup run. And when Carolina beat the Oilers, I was like, please stop talking. I don't want to talk about it. He's like, I was listening that week and I was driving and I said to myself, there is no way he's going to play the Brass Bonanza after Carolina beats the Oilers. There's no way he's going to play.
You had to, because if you were a believer in superstition, then you could argue that that's what now the Carolina winning in round 1 had nothing to do with the order games or round 2 or round 3 or even in the Stanley Cup final. But yeah, I stuck with it. There was game 7 one. Yeah, there is There's a few expletive-filled emails to show.
He's like, there's no way he'll play Brass Bonanza out of respect.
So yeah.
Did you lead with it on the day after?
I can't remember what the ruling was. No, he played on our show after a hurricane. That's how it's after a Hurricanes win. That was just like during that 06. It was kind of something fun during the season because people didn't care. It's Carolina. Like no one thought in 2006.
Oh, totally.
The Oilers in Carolina, like in November, we're going to be playing the Cup.
No,
later on. So it was just one of those things that we started, and you just got to finish it. We didn't. We retired it after that year.
Did you?
And then we moved it to Pause of Friday. So it's okay. We might have given it I think we took summer off and then brought it back just for Pause of Friday. So there you go. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Red Deer Resort and Casino. Give your kids a summer to remember. Bears, beds, belly laughs. Book the Stay Well package at the Red Deer Resort and Casino today. That's Red Deer Resort and Casino.ca. I felt like when I read that, I should have done when Jim was Dwight Schrute and he does the whole bear skit. I might have to do that one time. That'd be pretty funny. Here's Connor Halley.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Hockey Canada announced today that they've invited 92 players from its men's, women's, and para-hockey teams to attend a national team orientation camp that'll be in Calgary October 26th to the 28th, representing the Oilers. Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Evan Bouchard, and Zach Hyman. Major League Baseball, Jays in action taking on the Royals in about 5 minutes' time from Toronto. Also, the team has activated Dalton Varsho and plays George Springer on the 7-day IL with a concussion. Around the majors, one other game going on. Nationals lead the Brewers 1-0. Still early in the first. In town, you get the Riverhawks taking on Kelowna just after 7. Week 9 of the CFL continues tonight. Argos in Winnipeg meeting the Blue Bombers. That'll start at 6:30. The Elks in action tomorrow, of course, hosting the Ticats at 1. You can catch the Stingers tonight in the city taking on Vancouver. Tip off 7 o'clock and here at the mall. FIBA 3x3 basketball gets going now till 9 o'clock. It also goes tomorrow from 2 till 10. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown with Lowtide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Work never gets done by standing around. You have to put your words into action. And that's exactly what GS Construction does every single day. Our priorities are safety first, quality second, efficiency third. GS Construction works hard. It's true. But first, comes the care, the planning, and the people. Underground infrastructure isn't just about machines and trenches and some traffic inconveniences. It's about doing things right. Find out more on what we do. Visit gsconstruction.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The 8th annual Oilers Nation Open tees off Friday, August 29th at 9 a.m. A Texas scramble with fellow golfers, sports fans, and maybe even a few local personalities. Great shots, cold drinks, and a great cause. Gregor's Grads. Sign up at nationgear.ca.
Noodle noodle nood noodle nood noodle nood oodle noodle nood noodle noodle nood 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 oodle noodle nood oodle nood noodle noodle nood noodle nood noodle nood oodle noodle nood. Noodle noodle nood 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 oodle noodle nood.
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Edmonton Elks Salute to Service, presented by James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. August 2nd, 1300 hours. EE battles the Ticats. Catch the Royal Canadian Air Force pregame flyover, the Salute to Service flag football tournament, and more. Tickets start at just $20 at GoElks.com.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Easy airport parking? Choose Park to Go. Edmonton's top-rated provider on Google. Book self-park or valet and save up to 30% with promo code RADIO.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. Welcome back. As you hopefully made it through the week and now you're excited. It's a long weekend, man. Today feels a little bit better than a normal Friday because it's a long weekend. Now, maybe you're going camping, you're going hiking, boating out to the beach, just relaxing, wherever it is. Have a great time. Maybe sports fans, you got the big sports weekend. Maybe you're taking in some Stingers or Riverhawks tonight. Then you got Elks and Riverhawks tomorrow, Stingers and Riverhawks on Sunday. So you could do double dips. Well, I couldn't do a double dip tonight because the Stingers and the Riverhawks playing at the same time. But the other time is good. Be awesome. Wheel and deal. Tomorrow's a perfect double dip if you want. It's a lot of outside in the heat. But you go from the Elks, have a snack, and go to the Riverhawks. Oof. Would be good. Mix in some water, though, because it is going to be hot tomorrow.
But go down to the Elks game tomorrow. If you're thinking about it and you're like, I don't know, I haven't been in a while.
No, you should.
This is as nice a day as you could have.
Yes.
And to go to an Elks game, I don't care how many people show up. I don't care what the score is. You get a hot dog, maybe get yourself a beer, sit in the stands. If you're ever giving it a second thought, maybe I should go back. It's Saturday at 1 p.m. would be a good choice.
Yeah. It would be good. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Text in our UL inbox. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Coming up this hour, Spec will join us right away, and also Alan Mitchell as we do get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. They just remind everybody, as you make your way through construction zones, they want to enjoy the long weekend just as much as you. Be safe, be respectful through construction zones all around town from GS Construction as Mark Spector joins us. This guy's been on a long weekend all summer. Spec, how you doing?
You know, Jay, one day maybe Fred will win the fight and maybe that cat will stay out for the night. You know what?
Yes.
You tell Lotard I was sour at him today. I'm driving along this afternoon, run down to the store to pick some stuff up, and he's carving up Terry Jones, and he's saying, Terry Jones, he's past his prime. He doesn't know who anyone is anymore. I think he should shut up. He shouldn't keep talking. Then I listened a little more and I realized, oh, wait a second. He's talking about Jerry Jones. So I was like, low tide, who are you to say that to Terry Jones? But that's different, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Jerry Jones, I'll say one thing. He loves the drama. He loves his team to be in the cycle, the news cycle. And so when it comes to, it's just the Dallas way. Other teams will, sign a lot of their star guys early. Not everybody, but Dallas has a history of doing this. And in most cases, they end up always signing the guy for the contract they probably could have got cheaper if they'd have signed him a year earlier. So it's a weird strategy. It's kind of it's like he likes to play the game. I don't know, but either way, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Micah Parsons, who asked for a trade today publicly. So we'll see. Now, sticking with, we'll go to the football in a sec, but Hockey Canada today, they announced they're going to have an orientation camp later this month in Calgary. It'll be off ice, nothing on the ice. There's 13 defensemen going. There's going to be 26 forwards, including Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Bouchard's going as one of the defensemen. And but they only 3 goalies spec. Like the 3 goalies that were on the roster are the 3 goalies coming back. Are you surprised that they basically, now that doesn't mean that Darcy Kemper or Logan Thompson or someone else can't make the team, but it just seems odd to me that, they're going to have that many forwards, that many defensemen, but only 3 goalies.
Yeah, I thought that they'd toss a couple more names in. I don't, I guess I'd say to you, they did win last time with the goalies that they had. Binnington, obviously, the primary goalie. So, on one hand, you think, man, they should change stuff up. And on the other, I guess yes, a couple extra guys, since it's only what are we calling this thing again? A development camp? Not a development camp, but what? Introductory camp? Orientation camp.
Orientation camp.
It's only orientation. You could bring 5-6 guys, but I don't know. If, let's say, they were playing games right away, is there another goalie that you think would replace the goalies that they have already on that group?
Oh, dude, Logan Thompson, Darcy Kemper, 100%. And did you see the interview? Logan Thompson was like, I'm not really surprised. Him and, he spoke about the relationship with him and Cassidy. Now, that's just maybe his opinion on it. But when you look at Logan Thompson's numbers, what he did last year in Washington, they're excellent, right? You look at Darcy Kemper's numbers in LA, they're fantastic. Now, I agree that it's a lock that then Binnington's on the team, right? He won to me, that's a lock for certain. But, all the forwards and the defensemen who won the gold medal spec, it's not like they're just bringing them back. They still brought back twice as many defensemen and almost twice as many forwards that are going to be on the team.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I guess to me, you're really looking for someone to play their way on this team in the first, between the start of the season and Christmas. That's what you're looking for. Canadian goaltending, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that, man, between now and February, because we don't have the goalies we wish we had. We don't have a Carey Price anymore. We don't have guys that are a lock the way we used to. Darcy Kemper, sure, his numbers are good. The Oilers eviscerate him in every series they play against him. I don't consider him to be some great goalie. Maybe Logan Thompson does have a problem with Bruce Cassidy, and if he does, that's going to be a problem because Cassidy's a big part of that coaching staff. So, listen, by the end of the thing, they're going to pick guys on who's the hottest guy on about December 15th. That's who's going to make this team, right?
Possibly. Evan Bouchard spec. And I've said this, if you go just off of playoffs, which is the most intense time, which is what the Olympics is going to be, Bouchard would be an easy decision. Now, I know it's not just based off playoffs. And so, some people, he'll get upset. He'll have a nonchalant play in November. Mark it down. It'll happen. But would Bouchard make your Team Canada?
Not unless he gives me a first half of the season where that play you just described becomes an absolute rarity. Every guy gets beat, right? The best player gets beat. Like, it happens. The other teams are good and they're trying too. But if you're saying to me that can Evan Bouchard have the same October, November, December he had last season and say, yeah, but I get really good when the playoffs start, I'm saying to you, Team Canada won't speak his name, right? They won't speak his name unless he comes out of the chute next year and locks it down with we've seen him be good in the playoffs. If he wants to play in the Olympics, he needs to be good defensively in October, November, and December. And if he's not, I'm telling you right now, Jay, they won't speak his name in those meetings.
Yeah, I guess I would ask why, though. He's proven 3 years in a row in the playoffs that, you know what, he might have an off game, because everybody's going to have an off game in the regular season. Don't get me wrong. There's other guys that do it. It just seems, you know what, a lot of times I think it's more optics than actuality. Like sometimes he's the guy back. And it's funny. I've talked to 2 defense coach who, when the guy has a clear step on Bouchard on a breakaway, they say the smart play is to actually then slow down and play the rebound. Sure. These are guys that, right? So sometimes, I don't know. I just, the way Bouchard's played in the playoffs and how he moves the puck, and the rules of the Olympic spec are even less physical than the NHL playoffs, which in theory would help Bouchard's game even more. I think for sure he should be on the team. I'd be actually surprised if he didn't make the team.
Well, I'd love for him to make the team, but I'm here to tell you, they judge these, they pick this team on, you know, when it gets down to the semifinals and finals in the Olympics, you're going to play an awesome opponent, and it's going to be a 3-2 game, and goals against are absolutely at a premium. And if I don't trust the defensive player, he's not going to play. And if I'm telling you, he's got to up his defensive game before Christmas. You don't get to go in on reputation. Listen, I'll say this. He didn't get a sniff for Four Nations, right? He didn't get a sniff for Four Nations. And it's for the same reasons I'm telling you now, because all season long they watched him play and said, sorry, not enough.
Yeah, you could be right. But I just think this year, because the excuse was, well, he's playing with Matthias Ekholm. That's why he has good numbers. But that excuse got erased this past postseason.
Let's throw all these excuses away, and let's throw all the history away, and let's just chuck it all in the garbage and start fresh, Jay. Why are we trying to make excuses for a guy that plays suboptimal defense for a good chunk of the regular season, and we're saying put him on the team anyway? Why isn't the bar higher? Why aren't we saying be an awesome defenseman for 82 games, right? And playoffs. They pay you for 82 games in playoffs. Why are we trying to find a way to say it's okay to be crappy in your own end until it counts? What are we doing here?
Well, because actually the numbers wouldn't suggest he is crappy in his own end. He might make the odd play that looks bad. I don't debate that, but he doesn't make multiples. Look at his numbers. He doesn't make, he's not terrible defensively. He's not terrible. He's not close to terrible.
I watched him play last year. He went about a month where he was killing them defensively, Jason. Absolutely killing his team defensively. Every game there was a goal that he was at fault on. He was killing his team. Okay? That's a fact. And that level of hockey doesn't make
Bouchard. So I want to hear some numbers. So first of all, and I'm looking for 3 seasons. Evan Bouchard, 231 goals for 180 goals against. And he played the 18th most minutes in the NHL. Quinn Hughes, 173 goals against. Not much difference, right? I'm looking, and he actually played way more minutes than I got to scroll down here. I can't even find him. Trying to find Cale Makar, because I think at times people think that Bouchard's the only guy who makes the only high-end offensive defense who makes mistakes defensively. And that's all I'm saying. Like, if you want to say he makes the odd big mistake, I would agree. He doesn't make multiple ones when you look at the overall numbers. And the bad plays get seared into the memory of people way deeper than the good plays.
Well, I think what happens is he shows you how he can play when the chips are down in the postseason. I think he comes out in the postseason and plays the brand of defense you want to see from him. You go, there it is. He can do it. Like, I've been at it with hell. I'm not afraid to say it. I've talked to his agent who thinks I'm too hard on Bouchard. And what I told him is what I'm telling you. Evan Bouchard shows us at the toughest time of year what an awesome player he can be on both ends of the rink. Like, he can be an absolute franchise defenseman at both ends of the rink. But he is now at the point, and at the pay grade, I think it's fair to say, Jay, he is now at the point where it is fair to expect that for the majority of the season. We're not turning it off and on anymore. He's a mature player. He's been around. I expect the most out of the best players, and he's one of the very best the Oilers have. I expect more from him during the regular season defensively because I know we can do it. That's why.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think when he makes a mistake, it's like, oh, he made one mistake, but he'll make 10 great plays and people still focus more on the one mistake. Right.
Sure.
And that's just a fact.
True.
Right. And as the scout once told me, when you focus on what the guy doesn't do, you miss all the things he does do. And
that's also true.
Now, what about like I look at their forward group. I actually think we could see a fair amount of change from the forward group at the Olympic team. Right. I look at guys like, I don't think Brad Marchand's a lock, right? Because he's 37 years of age now, right? He's 37, right? He didn't have a great regular season, had a really good playoff.
He did.
But if the playoffs aren't good enough for Bouchard, then they can't just be good enough for him. Sam Bennett, to me, is on the team because of his style of play.
Yes.
And they like him, and there's not a lot of guys that do that. But, like, I'm not sold Seth Jarvis is on the team. I'm not sold that Travis Konechny's on the team. So I think the forward group is where we could see 3-4 different faces next Olympics.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I think there's a spot on if Zach Hyman is healthy and productive, I think he's on the team and he's playing with McDavid. So to me, there's a spot there that's I believe it's Zach Hyman's for the taking because he plays the kind of game you're going to need. He's a playoff performer. He plays a hard game. He retrieves pucks. He gets his points in all the hardest spots in the rink, so right there's a spot. Those guys at the bottom of the Four Nations lineup didn't get much done. They didn't get much done. The Seth Jarvis guy and Konechny, they're absolutely going to need a fantastic 3 months to hold their spots on this team. And listen, we got lots of good players. Like, what are they going to bring? Let's say for fun, the number's 14 forwards. It's and the top. I mean, you and me could knock off 8 guys that are making this team in their sleep.
Oh yeah.
So, there's 5 or 6 spots, man, and there's 100. Realistically, there's 25 guys that could have those 5 or 6 spots. So it's a competition, and it should be. And that's why Canada wins all the time, because they got the biggest, deepest pool of good players, deeper than the United States. And that's why they win, because they're battling for those jobs every time we hold one of these things.
Last night in the CFL, big upset. Ottawa spanks Calgary. And tomorrow you got the Elks against Hamilton. Hamilton's won 5 in a row. They've had kind of a weird road trip, and they're playing a little bit shorter of a week than the Elks are. You look at if there was ever a time, I guess, to think that maybe they can get a win, this might be it. It would obviously be an upset, but at some point, you know what? Hey, now you got to keep pace with Ottawa on the crossover. You got to get a win.
I just got to win. No one makes any playoffs with one win. Let's stay positive on the Elks for a second. They did just come off a game where what did they allow? 21 points last week?
Fewest points in any game this year.
Yeah. So that's the place to start, right? Like if your defense allows in the CFL, if your defense allows 20 or, 24 or less, you should win the football game. The offense came up short. So, Bo Levi Mitchell's a different animal here though, right? Like Bo Levi, man, he's become that guy, Jay. He's an American guy. He's never going to the NFL. He's played up here a long time. He's figured this league out. He knows exactly who's open and when and how and where the ball should go. He reminds me of like a Dunnigan or, in the old days, a Dieter Brock, a Dave Dickinson. I don't know. I'm just thinking of guys that spent a long time. A Damon Allen. Like Bo Levi's not going anywhere except for maybe into the Hall of Fame in Canada now. And, oh, boy, he's had a good season. So the secondary better pull their socks up, or this guy will put 40 up on you in a hurry.
Well, it helps that they're playing a little bit more aggressive defensively, so that's a good sign. Spec, have yourself a good week, and actually, low tide's coming up, so I'll pass along your Jerry/Terry story.
You tell him to lay off Terry Jones, will you?
Yeah, I will.
All right, boys.
Have a good one. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We'll return. LT is up next. And, don't look now. But Vladdy is heating up. Another home run for Vladimir Guerrero. And if he starts to hit And historically, he's been a lot better in the second half. And that could be a huge boost for the first place Blue Jays. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
On the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Come experience Edmonton Stingers Pro Basketball. Friday, August 1st. It's the most affordable, family-friendly, fun sports experience in the city. Tickets start at just $20. thestingers.ca.
It's the Brick's Great Canadian Staycation Sale. This long weekend, score hot summer savings like up to 25% off outdoor furniture and free local delivery on outdoor furniture purchases of $4.99 or more. Mattresses start at just $149 and queen-size beds start at just $299. Save up to $1,000 off genuine leather sofas and sectionals. Plus, save the tax when you buy 2 or more major kitchen appliances. The Brick, saving you more.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Bouchard Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank. Plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Bouchard Concrete Products. 780-372-3854. BouchardConcrete.com. Ah, summer. The sun's out, the road's calling, and your car said, nope. Don't let your summer road trip turn into a roadside nap. Swing by Napa Auto Parts. Napa has the trusted tools, smarts, and quality parts for all your automotive needs this summer. Get your vehicle ready for the road and just in time for your kids to start testing your patience and sanity.
Are we there yet?
With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Use promo code Gregor and get 20% off your order all day, every day. That's promo code Gregor before entering your order at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:28, positive Friday. Welcome back. Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, brought to you by playalberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. You'll get a free $50 play the next time you sign up. It's a new month, August 1st. So if you used it last month, don't worry. You get a new one starting today. And also tonight, 50 million up for grabs in Lotomax. Playalberta.ca. As we'll get to the Elks Report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton, where they are Canada's #1 Volvo dealership in sales. They're also a 13-time Excellence Award winner in sales and service. If you're looking for a great vehicle, even better service, VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown, noon to 2 on Sports 1440, also writes at The Athletic, joins us. LT, how you doing?
I'm very well. Beautiful day, nice and warm. We got a little bit of 3x3 basketball watching today. It was very nice.
Did you try to dunk, Al?
No, they wouldn't let me. They thought there were, they had the defib there and everything. I could have done it, but they said maybe not today,
Yeah. They didn't have the trampoline out there, right? That's where you used to like to do your 360 dunks off of.
Listen, you got, I'm the best 34 inseam basketball player in history, just so everybody knows.
How was the hooping?
It was great. I mean, they're fantastic talents. Like, it really is. It's a breathtaking sport because it's so intense and there's no time, because of the shot clock. And so you're consistently up and down the floor, and it's really exciting. I have to say that I think that this is a sport that's going to grow a lot over the next, however many number of years. It's a lot of fun.
Let's get to a few things here. First of all, I asked Spec about it. What do you make about Bouchard's chances of making Team Canada?
Well, how many players of his type do you like? I think Bouchard's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but how many players are you going to have who are puck movers and right-handed puck movers? Because I think he can. There's no doubt in my mind he could play, qualify, and play brilliantly for the team. But the Team Canada often has a combination of grit and finesse and two-way types and complete types. So. I think go play, got a chance to play. Who knows who's going to show up or who's going to be injured. I think if he plays, he'll play well. But I also think that it'll be dependent on the makeup of the team.
Well, what do you mean? Do you want guys who can move the puck? And Bouchard can defend well enough, like we've seen in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, but you have to admit there's a bias for coaching against having too many players of that type. So Bouchard can play brilliantly defensively. I'll defend him all day, but I think that he should have been considered, previously for other teams, all-star teams, that he's not. I think there is a tendency to kind of slow play his defensive efforts, and I think that will probably impact him.
And that's probably valid. I don't discount that and honestly, I think Oiler fans, it might be better if he doesn't make the team because, he plays the most minutes on your team. McDavid's going to play. We know the Draisaitl's playing. Hyman might play, right? I guess there's an outside chance Ekholm could play. So, you could have a lot of guys there. And while it's a great opportunity for the players individually, no doubt, if you want your team to win the cup, might be better off not going. So we'll see where that comes out. Were you surprised at all the forwards in the defense, but only 3 goalies?
No, I mean this is an invitation camp, right? This is they're having a look kind of thing, and they could. When do they have to make their final decision?
Oh, not until because they've already announced 6 players. I think the rest of the roster. I don't know the exact date, but it's early December if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So there's as long as there's leeway, and I like
maybe
goaltending is. Yeah, the goaltending is what if somebody starts off hotter than a firecracker, right? What I don't know about goaltending is a lot, but I think that sometimes Canada is so stacked you can pick it 2 years out, and sometimes it's okay, who's hot, and we'll wait and see. But I'm right now. It's interesting. It's a curio, but beyond that, we're just kind of getting excited. And it's nice to have some hockey news for sure.
Yeah, no, it's good. To the Elks, and we saw an upset last night. What do the Elks have to do to get an upset on Saturday?
Well, I think they've got to play well on both sides of the ball. The offensive line has to be very strong. I think, I think they have to be as intense as Declan Kruger told me they were at practice this week, where they were knocking heads and being very physical. And some of these fellows are looking at professional extinction, right? Because if that there are going to be changes, and there already have been, but they're moving guys in and out of the roster, starting or backups or changing positions. So those things are happening, but they played too soft off the ball quite a bit of this year. There was a period of time where they weren't stretching the field defensively. They've got to do all of those things, but mostly they just have to win. There's some frustration for me. They didn't have Trey Ford use his legs for part of the year. They were playing off defensively, and some of the play calling offensively, I think, has been a little bit predictable. So, and I'm not saying they've lost the games because of this, but it feels like this is a new coaching group, and they're kind of feeling their way. Not that they've cost games, but I think they have to be locked and loaded and play to the strengths of their team. That Bouchard's going to play, then play to his strengths and whatever they may be. They've got talent on this team on both sides of the ball. The defense was supposed to be the strength. It needs to be tomorrow.
Al Mitchell, aka Low Tide, joins us. Al, I know you follow baseball. You're still in your baseball fantasy league. So I'm curious, how much does the trade deadline impact your fantasy league?
Not terribly. I mean, I would say that it's like things like the San Francisco closer was completely up in the air because they made a trade, but it's most of the season is most of our season for the fantasy leagues is done. So you're either in or out, and so you're tweaking. And the trade line for the fantasy league is about a month from now. I would say that it's interesting and it's curious, but you're almost, here's how I'll say it: you're almost better off looking at who is still on a roster that's going to be the closer or the outfielder or whatever than you are about who's gotten traded, because the players who've been traded are already on teams, so they're going to remain there. It's the opportunities for the rookies that are, or the young players who are maybe going to step in and play after the big feature player leaves, and that's interesting. But we'll have to wait and see in the next few weeks. I don't think there'll be a lot of major moves that are going to have an impact on the fantasy baseball. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel.
And who's ever got Vladdy Guerrero in your fantasy draft is all of a sudden happy, because he is starting to really hit the ball. The last few weeks, like basically ever since coming out of the All-Star break, he has been pounding it. He got another home run tonight for the Jays. I think he's got the best average in baseball since the All-Star game, and slugging percentages off the charts. Like it's funny how he historically has been much better in the second half.
Yeah, he's my favorite player to watch. I will never the two batters that three, Shohei, Judge, and Guerrero for me are like, if I'm in a bar and I'm talking to somebody, I'll try not to ignore them, like, obviously, but I will just stop paying attention, because I think those guys are just so damn much fun. And Vladdy's just brilliant. I mean, his dad was one of my favorite players, and he's like, he's just money. He's so much fun to watch. He has such a good time playing the game. And when he hits a ball out, it is a screamer. It's just like, it's going to supply satellite television to Buffalo if he's playing in Toronto. It's gone.
Al, have a great weekend, a long weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Sounds good, boys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Right. It's Al Mitchell, a.k.a. Low Tide. We'll come back. We got Wanye's World and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
McDonald's summer drink days are here. Get a $2 small fruit splash beverage or a small frappe or smoothie for just $3 each. Summer's booming with McDonald's Summer Drink Days. Excludes additional flavor shots and toppings at participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Whoop, there it is. 4 days of basketball at its best. Hoop City 2025, North America's largest FIBA 3x3 showcase. The top 4 Olympic teams on both men's and women's categories, featuring Canada's women's Olympic team with Edmonton's own Michelle and Catherine Plouffe. More than just hoops. There's entertainment, long-distance shootout, Grand Slam showcase, plus interactive games and prizes for everyone. Hoop City 3x3 Basketball Festival on now through Sunday. Ice Palace and West Edmonton Mall. Admission is free, so bring the whole family.
What's better than a family reunion? Getting the family discount. At Nisku Ford, you're not just a customer, you're part of the family. And we believe our family deserves the very best.
That's why our legendary employee pricing is back. This August, get the Ford you want at the price you deserve with exclusive deals reserved for our closest kin. It's our way of saying, welcome home.
The coffee's on. Drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
Photographers, start your cameras. It's time for Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest. Enter your hometown snapshot and show us what makes your community amazing. Whether it's a view from the farm, a stroll down Main Street, or a weekend at the rodeo, we're looking for snapshots that show off your rural Alberta hometown. Share your photo before September 2nd for a chance to win cash prizes or a donation to your favorite community group. Learn more via Vision's Facebook page or go to what'syourshare.ca.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on the Ford you want. Visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca today.
This is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Favorite us right now.
Powered by playalberta.ca. If you gamble, use your game sense. Learn more at gamesense.ab.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL. Get your power play amped up with EWEL, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EWEL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.542. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Wanya Gretzky with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We'll get to Wanya's Worldless X, some tweets. We'll also have to get to the 2-minute warning. Why don't we do that with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. AC breaks down tonight or on the weekend, long weekend, call Legacy. They'll come fix it. No overtime charges. LegacyHeating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam was born with cerebral palsy, is in a wheelchair due to his disability. He was never able to be on radio until now. Through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning. Collins, you going to... Oh, here we go. No, I don't have it, Collins. Do you? I do. Oh.
Oh, boy. That music was beautiful.
Oh, well, yeah, you find that. What, geez, Tater.
Well, I can step in a moment's notice and speak.
Yeah, go ahead, or just send it to me. Yeah. That means I'm chirping someone nice. Can't just throw me under the bus here. So
I was like, man, that music is beautiful.
yeah, well, I was
Gregor's
waiting for it
giving
to get started, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be reading that. So, geez, Jay's giving up the long ball again. Whew. Yowzer. So, man, here we go. So, you got it. You got it ready now, Cons?
Trying here. It'll come on midway through.
Midway through?
Oh, I can restore it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. This is great live radio right now. Fantastic. Well, Gregor, I'm embarrassed. No, I didn't come out of the men's room with my fly down, even though I can't do up my fly. Oops, too much information. Sorry, Mrs. Bradley. My embarrassment could lead me in surrendering my membership card in the Sports Writers Association or the Council of Sports Writers, status of sports writers, and Confederation and status of sports writers, or something like that. I'm embarrassed to say, and this is publicly hard to announce, but I think I failed. I don't care about the Toronto Blue Jays. I always thought they'd be in the middle of the pack bunch, 5, 7, even 10 games behind. So I gave it the no, never mind attitude. Take a few highlight packages, especially if nothing else was on. Didn't care, didn't watch, didn't want to be engaged. But then, goodness gracious, there, Connor Halley, the Blue Jays. They started winning and winning and winning more. Now I find giving up my favorite meal of the day, dessert, to get dialed into the Jays game on TV. I'm now getting to know the pitching rotation, the bullpen, outfield, infield, and everything else. All because of one thing. The Blue Jays are winning. And watching a winning team quickly, very quickly, converts casual fans into really good fans. Hey, Gregor, you can say really in that excited tone of voice? So let's try again. Really big fans, like me. Winning changes everything. So yes, I'm on the Toronto Blue Jays bandwagon. Now, as Gregor said, I use a wheelchair. And since it wasn't easy getting on this bandwagon, I'm hoping that now for my wheelchair, a ramp will be built for when I roll off. 2-minute warning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tater. Gregor Show, Sports 1440. So he's on the bandwagon, and now he's hopefully he's going to roll off. He's already calling it that he's going to get off. Well, maybe he was watching the first few innings of tonight's game. He's already off of it. But hey, the Jays are in first place on August 1st. Hands up anybody who thought that. Like anybody in the country. Heck, anybody in the U.S. I don't think anybody in North America thought the Jays would be in first place on August 1st. Now, will they be in first place on September 1st? That's a valid question. Are you into the Jays, Wanye?
You know, I'm into watching Jays fans get upset. And there's a lot of folks at Nation HQ, Tyler Yaremchuk being the lead, and just watching his hopes get way too high every year and then being dashed on the rocks. If that's being a Jays fan, yes. Yes, I am a Jays fan.
All right. Well, there you go. So you watch it for the drama of others.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh, you know what? The other big news for the Jays, Buck Martinez is coming back. He'll be in the broadcast next weekend. So I know Buck was even my son is like, hey, Dad, where's that guy with the unique voice? So, we wish Buck all the best, and it will be great to see him as he's battled some health issues, but looks like he's going to be back on the broadcast next weekend, which is nice. So anyway, let's get to Wanye's World, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, one of the most diversified electrical contractors in the province. You name it, they got it. Service, tag, solar, they'll help you out in all. ActionElectrical.net.
As regular listeners to your show will know, I live basically beside the ball stadium, down in the River Valley. And I love the Riverhawks. I love them. And I can unequivocally tell you they have now reached the point where this is as busy as I've ever seen the baseball stadium since I wasn't old enough to be a Trappers fan, but I know that they used to lead the AAA in attendance. Like the Riverhawks are rolling into August in terms of attendance and everything like that. All their auxiliary parking lots are now full. People are now parking like up the hill and coming down. It's really impressive to see. I remember thinking last summer that they kept getting rained out. It seemed unfair because they were doing all this awesome promotional work and the weather just wouldn't collaborate. But now they're getting such good weather that I think they're just making memories here, and they're locking in fans right now for seasons to come because people are down in the River Valley having a great night. Fireworks every 15 seconds, unfortunately. Now we got to take it over to the Elks because when people are watching the Riverhawks, they're not talking about how good the team is. I've talked to so many people about the Riverhawks. The score never comes up. Now, they're not biblically terrible as perhaps Elks teams have been.
No, they're
season.
competitive. Their mid-playoff team so they win. The people leave the stadium more often than not with a win. And I think that matters.
It matters to a point.
Yes.
But what also matters is how much work the Riverhawks have put into the vibes.
Yep.
Right. And the amount of contests they're doing and theme nights and just like genuinely fun family fare.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I hope that Edmontonians gives the Elks a fair shake, because I've been going there more this season. I was just arguing at the break with Declan about quarterbacks, the Elks. This time last year, I wouldn't have known anything. But Elks Nation's left the ship, has left the port, and now I've got to take on the Elks QB. And I think going to the games, they're as fun as I remember them being when I'm little, in terms of the stadium is still big league. There's a lot of wicked stuff going on.
Have you taken Wanye Jr. to the game yet?
Yes.
Now, did you get him on the field after the game?
He's 4, so we had to dip before the game
But see,
ended.
that's why tomorrow you can do it. I'm telling you, once he does it once, well, the battle is once he does it once, now he'll want to do it at the later game. So that's always a challenge. But I'm telling you, that's it is such a thrill for kids because they see the players and they're bigger than life when they're on the field. And they're not going to sit there and say, yeah, well, the skill level isn't what I want. It's not what they're worried about. But they're like, oh my goodness, I'm running on the same field that they're playing on. And it's a massive field. Like when you're 4, just think about how big that field is, right? Like there's not many parks around that you go play at with Wanye Jr. that have that much of an open space, right? Unimpeded, where you can just run. And I that to me was the best decision they made. I know it hasn't led to instant success and everything else, but the Riverhawks, they started doing it too, which is smart, right? Because it allows your young fans to feel something like, oh my God, they get to run the bases. Like, I'm a baseball player and I'm running the bases, and you're running the exact bases where the players play on. Like I've always said that. And I understand why I can't do it in the NHL, because you have to pack your skates and, it'd be a gong show, right? So I understand it, but it's just, it's a very small thing that gets kids to stay right till the end of the game. I'm not leaving. They could be losing by 10, winning by 40. I'm not leaving because I want to go on the field. And those kids have that memory of, I want to keep going to the stadium. And that's how it starts. Now, obviously, winning's another component. That's what the Riverhawks will be doing. They win. So, yes, the Elks, at some point, and it's got to be sooner or later, you got to start winning a few games, right? Like they did win against Ottawa, so that was good. The problem was their next home game was just dreadful. So you've got to now, if you lose on a last-second field goal in a tight game, at least the fans will be like, okay, that was entertaining. But like the BC game, and it was not lost on me that they had the scoreboard and the stats of that game up this week during practice. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I think that was just a little message is, hey, we're not forgetting this. When you guys you look, because it's impossible not to look up the scoreboard, right? Because it has the clock of like the running time a day. So you'll know, there's this much time because they have the practice session set out, right? And so you glance up and BC Lions, 565 yards, right? Elks, nothing. So, well, it wasn't nothing, but it was like 127 or whatever it was. So it was, I'll be very curious to see how they come out. Like there's no lack of motivation, I would hope, for this game.
And my counterpoint would be like, even if you go down on Saturday at 1 p.m. and say, you know what, I'm going to give another shot. I defy you to leave that stadium, even if they get shelled, and tell me you didn't enjoy sitting in the sun. You didn't enjoy having a hot dog or some popcorn. Mm-hmm. You didn't enjoy just the general vibe.
Yeah.
I hope people do.
No, that's fair. And I think like they've done a lot of things better. And I think they've realized that, right? Like Chris Morris, and it's only his first year, right? Like there's, as he said, you can't change everything. You gotta give some people opportunities to see, what they can do and stuff, but they have more things coming. And I do believe that, he recognizes it. Like he spent a lot of his time as a president kind of having to put out fires from the previous regime and fix some relationships that got broken that should have never been broken, right? From a corporate standpoint to a season ticket base standpoint. So there's lots of work kind of behind the scenes. And, the on the field is the one part of it that, he can't control, but you hope that it's funny. The on field, as you're right, it isn't the do all end all. And you might not know the score in the Riverhawks, but they know they're winning more often than not. And that does matter to fans. 100, because last year, go look at last year's crowds when the Elks, even they started to win, they were out of it. They started to win a few games and people come back. So winning does matter because you have a better feeling. Hey, how was it? Oh, it's great, man. We had a good time. There's lots of entertainment. Oh, and they won. So You win the game, and then their next home game will have a bigger crowd. It's just simple. So win it, and they will come. Have a great weekend, everyone. Please do not drink and drive. Don't weed and drive. Don't be inebriated. It's a long weekend. Be safe with your loved ones. Be smart. Have lots of fun. But walk home, Uber. Just get home safe. On behalf of Wanye Gretz, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, missed any parts of the show, anywhere you get your podcast, you can listen to it or go to jasongregor.com. Each individual interviews there. And you can rewatch any of the videos at YouTube. Here's the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by eWell, your power play partner with a new website that puts the power in your hands with 24/7 ordering and shipping within Edmonton and across Alberta. Score an account today at ewel.ca. Good night. Have a great weekend.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Hockey Canada announced today they've invited 92 players from the men's, women's, and para-hockey teams to attend at their national teams orientation camp. That's going to go in Calgary, August 26th to the 28th. For the Oilers, Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Evan Bouchard, and Zach Hyman all invited. Major League Baseball, not a great start for the Jays. They trail the Royals 5-1 in the bottom of the third. Elsewhere, Brewers on top of the Nationals 6-2. Tigers have a 3-0 lead over the Phillies. Guardians at home lead the Twins 2-0. And the Giants on top of the Mets 2-0 heading into the fourth. Later tonight, you got Rockies, Pirates, White Sox, Angels, Athletics, Diamondbacks, and the Rangers in Seattle. In town, the Riverhawks taking on Kelowna, first pitch just after 7 o'clock. You've also got week 9 of the CFL season continuing. Argos in Winnipeg, kickoff 6:30. The Elks in action tomorrow at 1, hosting the Ticats. The Stingers taking on the Bandits tonight. Down gets going at 7 o'clock. And in the mall, you've got FIBA 3x3. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, it is Fox Sports Radio. We've got live local coverage resuming tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. with the Saturday Sports Setup, followed by Paul Sir and the Basketball Show and Toronto Blue Jays Baseball. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6.